Hello, and step into Myra's Morgue of Midnight Madness, where vintage airwaves crackle back to life. This episode features Planet Man, a classic sci-fi radio adventure from the early 1950s, produced by Palladium Radio Productions. Planet Man was a synthetic series aimed at young audiences, blending heroic space exploration with timeless tales of good versus evil. Follow the fearless Planet Man, intergalactic champion of justice, as he travels the cosmos in his spaceship Plantier, battling sinister villains and protecting peace across the stars. With its bold storytelling and imaginative soundscapes, Planet Man captured the spirit of an era when radio was a gateway to endless adventure. Tune in, dim the lights, and let Myra's Morgue of Midnight Madness transport you back to the golden age
Planet Man
of sci-fi.
The Planet Man. This is the fascinating story of Dantro, the Planet Man, troubleshooter for the League of Planets organization, the law enforcement body for peace and justice in the celestial world, whose headquarters and center of operations are situated on the capital of all the planets, Planaria Rex. From Mercury to Pluto, wherever danger threatens the universe, you will find Dantro, the Planet Man, fighting for fair play. In a moment, the Planet Man. When we left the crew of Earth's first rocket expedition, they were heading for a crash on the moon. We find Dr. Darrow, his daughter Pat, Slats, the engineer, and our two young stowaways, Billy and Jane, discussing their dangerous predicament. The sound of the complicated control mechanism makes the cabin seem like a chatterbox of confusion. And from the outside can be heard the mad whining of the lunar currents. We find them now as they're getting closer and closer to the moon's surface. Slats is speaking.
Our altimeter reading is dropping pretty fast, Professor.
Isn't there any way we can break our fall on the moon?
I've thought of everything, Pat, but there just doesn't seem to be any answer. The extra power we lost on takeoff was our only hope.
Father, I know you don't like to do things second best, but in a situation like this, it might be necessary.
What do you mean, Pat?
Well, what about using our remaining power to go into an orbit around the moon, as we discussed in our original plan?
Yes, but what good will that do? We still come to the same end, except that the agony will be prolonged.
Let's do it, Professor. We got nothing to lose.
Whatever it is, I'm game, Uncle John.
Me too, Uncle John.
You know what they say, Professor, where there's life, there's hope.
It'll be a ticklish maneuver now since we've gotten into the pull of the moon, and our power is limited. But if the rest of you are game, so am I. Stand by to maneuver. Pat, start the reactor.
Yes, Father.
Slats, check the radar rangefinder and make sure you pinpoint those readings on the moon.
Yes, sir.
I'll pilot. Now keep your fingers crossed. Heading 10 degrees starboard.
Heading 10 degrees starboard.
Cut the reactor, Pat.
Cutting reactor.
What's our reading?
It's 63.3. We need a bit more, Professor.
Hit it again, Pat.
Reactor on.
Are we picking it up fast enough, Slats? What's the reading?
Not enough, Professor. We need a fraction more.
Are you sure, Slats? I've got our heading way over, and our power can't last much longer with such a radical course heading. Slats, give me a reading. Slats, do you hear me? Give me a reading.
It's 89.4. 6 more points, Professor.
That's the end of our power. I hope we make it.
Steady, steady. Just a bit more, old Ironsides. There. Well, we made it. We made it, Professor.
Good,
right
that's
on the
fine.
beam.
I'm so glad. Very good.
Hey, what are we all so happy about? We're right in the middle of nowhere.
You mean that we're not going to land on the moon after all?
I'm afraid not, Billy.
What's going to happen?
Nothing, Jane. We're just going to circle the moon the way the moon circles the Earth.
Just look at that view of the moon. What a break. So near and yet so far.
Uncle John, something is happening to the air. It's getting stuffy in here.
I know, Billy. It's the air circulator slowing down. Breathing will be just a bit difficult from now on since our oxygen supply is limited.
Professor, can you hear me?
Slats, where are you? What are you up to?
I'm outside the ship, bringing up the lunar communications generator. Thought we might as well set it up and try to make contact with the Earth.
You can't do that alone.
I'm here, too.
Careful, Pat. Don't let go now. Pat! Slats, grab her. She's floating away.
What?
Quick, Slats!
Slats, help me.
Oh.
Help me.
Pat, here, grab my hand. Quick now, come on. Hold tight now. Easy. There we are. Steady now.
He pulled her back, Uncle John.
Pat, Slats, is everything all right?
Yes, Father, thanks to Slats. I thought I was a goner.
Don't forget you're out in space, Pat, and if you ever drifted away, we'd never be able to get you back.
It's all okay now, Professor. We're coming in.
Pat,
Yes, Billy?
Jane and I know what's going on.
What are you talking about?
Pat, we know this whole trip was spoiled because we stowed aboard. It's all our fault.
Now listen to me, you two, and stop feeling guilty. It wasn't the best idea for you to sneak aboard, but it did happen. And besides, we could have been wrong in our calculations. The important thing now is for all of us to face up to whatever lies ahead. And I know that you two won't let me down.
Never, Pat.
Not us, Pat. All right, now let's just forget the whole thing. I wonder where Slats and Father are.
We'll return to Planet Man in just a moment. So, level up. Well, it looks like the first trip from Earth to the moon is coming to its tragic end. The good ship Constitution is in a hopeless orbit about the moon. The entire crew is slowly suffocating because the oxygen supply is coming to an end. Professor Darrow and Slats are in the posterior cargo chamber. Slats is apparently up to something.
Why don't you go to the control cabin, Professor, and lie down for a while? It'll be easier for you to breathe.
I think I'd better stay here. I hate to have Pat and the kids see me so worried and worn out. Slats, you've got something on your mind. What is it?
I've been thinking, Professor. I really haven't got anybody. Nobody'd miss me, and you and Pat and the kids would have a little extra time.
Now, what are you driving at?
Well, a big guy like me uses a lot of oxygen. All I have to do is to step through that port, and it'll be all over in a second. You people will have a little longer.
Don't be a fool, Slats. We're all in this together. Besides, if anybody goes through the port, it will be me. I'm the oldest. And besides, the whole thing is my responsibility.
Now, look, Professor, I've made up my mind. There's no point in trying to stop me.
No, Slats, don't jump.
Don't stop me, Professor. I'll hit you. I didn't mean to hurt you, Professor, but this is the way it's got to be. So long, Professor. What's that?
What's going on in there? What's that clanging?
We're not clanging anything. I thought it was you.
Slats! Father, look out of the port! Quick!
Boy, look at that.
It's mammoth!
Professor, get up. Something's happened.
What?
There's something next to our ship.
Huh? Oh, my head. Ship. Here, help me. Let me see the... What? It's impossible. But it looks like another ship is next to ours.
Let me help you, Professor. We must get to the control cabin with the others.
Father, Slats, what is it?
I don't know, but now we'd better stay close together. Slats, where are you going?
Just to get this fishing wrench. I don't know what's coming through that hatch, but I'm not taking any chances.
Well, be careful and don't get too close to the hatch.
Let's all be very quiet.
Oh, Uncle John, look.
Stand back, whatever you are. I'll...
Look at Slats. He can't move. He's frozen in his tracks.
Oh, Slats! Why, it's a man.
What did you expect? A three-headed Mercurian man-eater? I am a man from the planets.
A planet man. boy, wait till the gang hears about this.
Billy, please.
My name is Dantro, the Planet Man, and I come in peace. I represent the League of Planets, and my mission is to bring all of you to Planaria Rex.
Planaria Rex? League of Planets?
Where is that?
I'll explain in a moment. But I don't think we should leave your brave friend Slats in this paralyzed predicament. He'll snap right out of it with a shot of this ray gun neutralizer.
What happened? Did I get him?
It's all right, Slats. We're all safe. It seems that we've met a friend, and his name is Dantro, the Planet Man.
It's nice to meet a brave man like you, Slats. Here, let me help you up.
Dantro, my name is John Darrow. This is my daughter and assistant, Pat.
How do you do?
And I think you've already met Slats.
Yeah.
And these two are Jane and Billy, my niece and nephew.
It's a pleasure to know you all. You see, we've really known you for a long time, since we've been able to watch your experiments. In fact, we've been in touch with this entire trip of yours. We've even learned to speak your language.
But how could you do all that?
We planet men have many devices which Earth has not yet discovered. And one of them is the cosmic communicator, which enables us to see and hear across the millions of miles of space.
But why have you kept the existence of the League of Planets from the Earth?
Where is Planaria Rex, and why haven't I been able to chart its position?
Everything will be explained to you in due time.
What's that noise?
It's coming from my ship. We must hurry along. It's the bogey warning oscillator telling us there are some unidentified ships approaching.
But we can't leave the Constitution.
Not old Ironside.
Your ship will be safe in this orbit for 1,000 years. We must not waste time.
Will I get a spacesuit like yours?
Will you let me fly the ship?
I see Earth children are no different from ours. There's our last warning. Quick, through the hatch into my ship, the Planeteer.
What adventures lie ahead for the Earth people? What will they find on Planaria Rex? Whose ships are those approaching the helpless Constitution? We'll be back in just a moment. But first, here is a message that Dantro the Planet Man wants you to hear. Tune in again for more transcribed thrills and adventures. Find out what happens to the Earth people as they speed toward a new world on Planaria Rex. Rocket millions of light years into space with Dantro, the Planet Man. The Planet Man. The Planet Man. The Planet Man. This is the fascinating story of Dantro, the Planet Man, troubleshooter for the League of Planets organization, the law enforcement body for peace and justice in the celestial world, whose headquarters and center of operations are situated on the capital of all the planets, Planaria Rex. From Mercury to Pluto, wherever danger threatens the universe, you will find Dantro, the Planet Man, fighting for fair play. In a moment, the Planet Man. At this moment, Dantro the Planet Man and the crew of the Earth's first space expedition, whom Dantro saved from certain death, are swiftly speeding toward Planaria Rex. They have just gotten out of the reach of some unidentified bogey spaceships. Dantro's ship, the Planeteer, is the most breathtaking engineering feat the Earth people have ever seen. It's as large as a fortress, and an endless system of instruments and mechanisms in the control chamber give it the appearance of a fantastic flying laboratory. Dantro is speaking.
With the use of this cosmic communicator, we've been able to watch the Earth for many years. This is how we knew all about your experiments, Professor Darrow, in the moment you took off for the moon. Here, I'll tune it in on your launching site, and you can see and hear what they're saying about your expedition.
Look, Professor, it's Charlie and Dr. Sterling.
I can't believe they didn't make it. Professor Darrow seems so sure. The scaffolding fire just before launching must have caused some trouble we never figured on. It's bad enough losing the three of them. But it looks like those two kids must have gone along with them. They were here one minute and gone the next. One of the workmen saw them near the rocket platform before the fire broke out.
I'm afraid I'll have to cut off the communicator now. You see, I must keep it clear for incoming messages. But what is this? Emergency garble signal. Let me hit that key. I've got to decode this message. This is Dantro. I am reading.
Dantro, this is Judge Augustus. Have you contacted the Earth people?
Yes, sir. They're aboard the Planeteer.
Good. Friends from Earth, forgive this hurried greeting. I'll welcome you personally when you arrive. Dantro, get back as quickly as possible. There's trouble brewing.
What's wrong?
Marston is up to some evil. Get back at once.
Yes, sir. Signing off. Brace yourselves. I'm giving her the works. Attention, all hands. Jets alive. Jets alive.
Dantro, how fast are we going?
About 5,000 miles per second.
Incredible. Say, who is this fella Marston? He sure gets lots of fast action.
Well, I guess I'd better explain a few things. You see, the League of Planets is made up of all the inhabited parts of the solar system. Mercury, Venus, Mars, and some of the moons of Saturn and Jupiter.
Dantro, there's a red light blinking on the sport panel. What does it mean?
Well, oh, thanks, Billy. I must switch on my auxiliary cooling coils. Without that, the skin of the ship would melt at this speed. A few more turns on this ship, and you'll be able to pilot her, Billy.
Oh, boy, I'd sure like that.
Well, anyhow, the member planets of the League have been living in peace for many centuries until recently, when a new leader has taken over on Mars. His name is Marston, and he's been plotting the conquest of the solar system. So far, the League has kept him in check. However, I'm afraid that once his plans are known, war between the worlds will be inevitable.
Why don't you punch him in the nose?
Now, Billy.
You're talking just like an old-fashioned cowboy, Billy. What you mean is, why don't you paralyze him a little?
Jane, please.
It's all right, Pat. You see, we of the League of Planets are not permitted to resort to violence except in self-defense. Let's not worry about Marston now. That's not your problem. Well, we'll soon be at Planaria Rex.
We'll return to the exciting story of the Planet Man in just a moment. So, level off! Dantro, the Planet Man, under urgent orders from Judge Augustus, is flying the Earth people to Planaria Rex at record speed. On the planet of the unknown, the mysterious planet Mars, certain plans are taking shape which can only mean that Marston, the dictator of Mars, is up to some foul play. As we look into the cold, foreboding secret meeting place of the Martian Council, we find Marston, a giant, fierce, ruthless ruler, holding court with his council. Behind Marston, you can hear a small, ugly, and weird creature, his Martian flying cobra, FEMA. It's Marston's only means of protection. Since this creature has the powers to warn Marston of any impending danger, Marston trusts no one, hence FEMA is constantly with him. Listen.
Can I count on no one? Must I conquer the whole solar system alone? I must have speed. We must strike before the other planets suspect our plan. Before they know it, Marston will rule the solar system.
When do we invade the Earth?
As soon as our ships return with the crew of Earth's first rocket ship. They should have reached there by now. Once they are our prisoners, we can move. From their eminent Professor Darrow, we will learn much to help us conquer the Earth.
Then with the Earth's resources and her people as our slaves, we can defy the League of Planets.
Marston, we have just received word from our ships. They have found the Earth ship.
Good.
But the crew is gone. Dantro must have reached them first, and it's believed they are on their way to Planaria Rex.
What? Must everyone fail me? Have the ships return immediately. When they arrive, execute the commanders of both ships. Fema, you are the only one who understands and protects me. And as for the rest of you, my trusted counsel, you will learn that when Marston wants something done, it will be done.
How can we keep them from reaching Planaria Rex?
Tara, my most eminent and brilliant scientist, what would you suggest? And I warn you, think well on this answer.
Marston, we must not betray ourselves in open violence. Our astronomers have discovered a flight of asteroids in the vicinity of Planaria Rex. By using our new gravitational repellers, we can direct these asteroids into the path of Dantro's ship.
But won't they be able to avoid them? You know only too well that Dantro's ship is equipped with deflectors.
It will be impossible for any deflectors to deal with so many asteroids at the speed at which they are traveling. They cannot change the course of their flight, and they are certain to crash.
Proceed with your plan, and do not fail. Remember that at this moment, we are trying to confuse the League of Planets Council into voting for our plan to, shall we say, peacefully contact the Earth. Our representative is ridiculing Judge Augustus' story of an Earth rocket ship because we were supposed to have destroyed the ship and captured its crew. We must not look like fools. And speaking of fools, you can all leave now. Dantro, you have beaten me again. I thought I might one day have the pleasure of running this radium dagger through you. But the asteroids will have to do the job for me.
As the representative of Mars, I say to this council, why do we wait any longer? I repeat to this council that there is no rocket ship from Earth in an orbit about the moon. There are no Earth people. I insist that we vote on the Mars resolution to permit the planet Mars to make peaceful contact with the Earth. We have agreed on the vote.
Members of the council, I request you wait. I personally contacted Dantro, and I know he is on his way to Planaria Rex with the Earth people.
We've had too many words about Dantro. Why isn't he here with proof? If we delay this vote any longer, we will be defaulting on our agreement to vote, and this council will be causing great grievance to my planet Mars. I demand a vote now.
I implore the council to wait. Dantro, please hurry.
Boy, what a way to travel. No need for gravity shoes. I can't wait until we get this drive in the Constitution. It's just wonderful for my corn.
I'm sure that League of Planets has other things to do besides worry about your corn.
Hey, what's up?
What a weird noise. Hurts my ears.
What's this? I can't understand it. We seem to be running into a field of asteroids that shouldn't be in this area.
Won't your deflectors take care of that?
The deflectors will take care of any ordinary obstructions, but there are hundreds of asteroids ahead. My latest report from Central Control shows them to be 3 million miles away. It's impossible, but there they are.
Is there any danger?
Can we go around them?
We're traveling so fast, it's impossible to change course that much. I'm slowing down, but I'm afraid we're going to hit them right smack in the center. All hands secure ship. Stand by for possible collision.
Well, Dantro the Planet Man and the Earth people seem to be in quite a spot. We'll be back in a moment. But first, here is a message that the Planet Man wants you to hear. Tune in again for more transcribed thrills and adventures. Find out what happens to the Earth people as they speed toward a new world on Planaria Rex. Rocket millions of light years into space with Dantro the Planet Man. The The Planet Man. The Planet Man. This is the fascinating story of Dantro, the Planet Man, troubleshooter for the League of Planets organization, the law enforcement body for peace and justice in the celestial world, whose headquarters and center of operations are situated on the capital of all the planets, Planaria Rex. From Mercury to Pluto, wherever danger threatens the universe, you will find Dantro, the Planet Man, fighting for fair play. In a moment, the Planet Man. Far out in space, Dantro, the Planet Man, and Pat, the beautiful daughter of Professor Darrow, are speeding toward Mars, where they will try to aid the Martian underground in revolt against the evil ruler of Mars, Marston. Even now, Marston is assembling a space armada to attack the Earth. Alone in his huge throne room, he is talking to Fema, his pet flying Martian cobra, the only living thing he trusts.
So, Fema, my deadly friend, the solar system will learn what it means to thwart Marston of Mars. That's right. We'll crush them all beneath our rays. Wipe out Planaria Rex and all those tender-hearted fools. First we'll take the Earth, then Venus, then the moons of Saturn. Mercury we'll keep till last. And that great hero, Dantro, Planet Man, they call him. He'll be a sorry hero when we finish with him, Fema? Any moment now, my ships will intercept him in space, and I'll have him where I want him. We'll feed him to the Marlions, and the girl, too. After we've learned what we need to know to conquer the Earth. Maybe I'll let you have a little fun with them then. Would you like that, Fema?
Another 2 hours should put us on Mars.
What's that? Are there meteors in our path?
No, they can't be meteors. They just change direction, and meteors would stay in one path. There's only one thing they can be. Marston's patrol.
Can we fight them?
If I were alone, I'd take the chance. But with you along, I'm afraid we'll have to surrender if they attack us. I just can't risk your life.
But the whole solar system is at stake.
I'm sorry, Pat. There. They're sending us a message.
You are on the province of Mars. Cut your drive. We're coming aboard. Cut your drive immediately, or we'll ray you out of space.
All right. I'm cutting my drive. Don't fire. Pat, don't say a word. Let me handle them. They're right alongside. Well, here comes the welcoming party.
Surrender in the name of Marston, ruler of Mars.
We surrender. What do you want with this?
Marston will tell you himself, but I'm afraid you're not going to like it. All right, get ahead of me and no tricks. My needle ray is set at full charge, and I just love to use it.
Slats. Oh, Slats, come over here. Well, how are things going? I see they've left you here, Slats, with the old men and the children, while they went off somewhere to claim all the glory.
Look, I told you before, it doesn't matter what you say. They're my friends, and I trust them. They won't leave me out of anything good.
Oh, you're so blind. Do you think they even think about you? You've served your purpose.
They'll be back.
I happen to know they'll never be back.
What are you talking about?
I've said enough. This is your last chance. Come over with us, and when Marston conquers the Earth with your help, he'll make you his governor. All the earth will be at your feet. Just think of what you'll be able to do then.
Well, I don't know. Are you sure it's safe?
Safe? It's certain. Now, are you with us?
By gosh, you're right. I took as much chance as they did, and they'll get all the glory. Okay, count me in.
Marston, Dantro, the Planet Man, and the Earth Girl are here.
Bring them in. Well, Dantro, I've waited a long time for this, but it was worth waiting for.
What did you want with us, Marston? Why did you bring us here?
That's funny. What do I want? I want to rule the solar system, and by the moons of Mars I shall, and you too shall help me.
You must be mad. We'll never help you.
Listen to them, Fema. Brave, aren't they? But enough conversation. I'm afraid we'll have to give you a little demonstration of our skill at torture. What is this? Probably a message from our representative on Planaria Rex. Yes, what do you have to report from that nest of fools?
I have great news, O Marston. The Earthman Slats has joined forces with us. Even now, he is on his way to you.
Oh, that kind of news I like. Well, Fema, now no one will stop us. What do you think of that news, Planet Man?
I don't believe it.
It's some trick. I know Slats wouldn't betray us. He'd die first.
Someone will die, but not him. He should be here soon, and then I won't need either of you. We'll try your courage against our hungry pack of Marlions. Take them to the dungeons until I'm ready to see them beg for mercy.
Marston seems to have all the cards. Dantro and Pat at his mercy. Slats on his side. His space armada assembling for an assault on unsuspecting Earth. We'll be back for more thrills in a moment. So level up. Dantro the Planet Man and Pat locked away in a dungeon, Marston of Mars is free to proceed with his plans to conquer Earth. Now he is talking to Slats, another member of the Earth crew, who appears to have betrayed his friends and joined forces with Marston. Listen.
Hey, look out!
Don't be frightened, Earthman. That's Fema's way of showing how much she loves you. Fema loves all those who help Marston in his plans. But take care. If ever you betray me, Fema will know it, and her fangs carry a poison so deadly that just a drop of it on your skin and you die in seconds. Seconds of great agony.
What do you mean, betray you? We have a deal, haven't we? I'm a man of my word.
A man who will sell out his friends can never be trusted. I am not interested in your word. Be warned. I am no fool.
Okay. Now, what were we talking about?
About my plans to conquer the Earth. You must tell me what defenses they have. And be sure of what you tell me, for I shall hold you personally responsible for any mistakes.
Well, there's one thing I want you to promise me before I tell you anything.
What is that?
You've got to promise me that the Planet Man and Pat are kept under wraps. I can't afford to take any chances either.
But I have already told you. They are deep in the dungeons where they can never get free until I am ready to dispose of them.
I want to see them.
Very well. But I warn you again. If this is some kind of trick, you will die in agony.
Gee, you're certainly hard to live with. Let's go.
Pat, there's something I'd better tell you.
We're in real danger, aren't we, Dantro?
Yes, Pat. There's no sense in pretending. We're in a tight spot, and I haven't the faintest idea of how we can get out.
What do you think Marston will do to us?
Well, that depends on Slats. You know him better than I. Do you think he'd really sell out?
An hour ago, I'd have staked my life on his loyalty to Father, me, and the kids. Now I'm beginning to wonder. If Marston wasn't sure of getting the information about Earth somewhere else, he certainly wouldn't leave us here. He wasn't just threatening about the torture. He really meant it.
That's what bothers me.
What are those Mar-lions he talked about? Are they animals?
They may sound like your Earth lions, but they're as different from them as a house cat is from an enraged panther. No one's ever beaten one without a ray gun. And even then, they can take a full charge for minutes before it has any effect.
And there isn't a chance.
There's only one real defense against them. Here on Mars, there's a rare flower, the scent of which somehow throws them into a trance. No one dares enter the jungles of Mars without it. If we could only get some of its perfume...
We might as well wish for a spaceship, too. There's just about as much chance. Shh, what's that? Someone coming?
Yes. There's a light coming down the stairs. I can just about see them now. What? It's Marston. And it's Slats.
Oh, no. Slats.
Well, now do you believe me? Look at them. Like two rats in a trap.
Oh, Slats, I just can't believe you would do a thing like this. What's happened? Did they hypnotize you or something? How could you join forces with this madman?
Madman, is it? Yes, mad to rule the solar system. But why waste my time with you? All right, Slats, my fellow conqueror. Now let us go and discuss plans for the Earth.
Just one thing first. I never liked that stuffed shirt Dantro. I'd like to give him a little souvenir. Come here, you.
Don't do it, Dantro.
I'm not afraid of anything the traitor can do. What do you want?
Oh, you rotten coward. You wouldn't dare do that if these bars weren't between you and Dantro.
Yeah, that's what I like to see. Real friends, aren't you? Just wait until tomorrow when those two face the Mar Lions. You'll really enjoy yourself.
Pat and Dantro seem to be facing certain death. What will be their fate when they meet the Mar Lions? We'll return in a moment. But now, here is a message the Planet Man wants you to hear. Tune in again for more transcribed thrills and adventures. Rocket millions of light years into space with Dantro, the Planet Man. The Planet Man. The Planet Man. The Planet Man. This is the fascinating story of Dantro, the Planet Man, troubleshooter for the League of Planets organization, the law enforcement body for peace and justice in the celestial world, whose headquarters and center of operations are situated on the capital of all the planets, Planaria Rex. From Mercury to Pluto, wherever danger threatens the universe, you will find Dantro, the Planet Man, fighting for fair play. In a moment, the Planet Man. When we left Dantro, the Planet Man, and Pat Darrow, daughter of Professor Darrow, the leader of Earth's first flight into space, they were imprisoned in the dungeon of Marston, the ruler of Mars. Dantro and Pat have just been confronted by Slats, engineer of the Earth's crew, who appears to have betrayed his friends and joined Marston's foul plan to conquer the Earth. Dantro is speaking.
Pat, I'm worried. The fate of the solar system lies in the hands of that fiend Marston and our friend Slats. If something isn't done, the planets will be plunged into a war that will destroy civilization. You can't imagine the weapons that have been developed. Bombs that can wipe out a sun, tractor beams that can pry a planet out of its orbit, rays that can reduce 100 miles of living Earth to a desert in seconds.
If only we could get out of here. Maybe we could contact the Martian underground and do something. But there doesn't seem to be any way.
I'm afraid not, Pat. Say, what's that on the floor? It's a small bottle. Look, there's a note written on the paper it was wrapped in.
What does it say? Who could have put it here?
Well, I can't believe it. It's from Slats. And it says, "Don't worry, everything is going to work out. The bottle has a scent that will stun the Mar Lions. As soon as they're knocked out, run to the door of the arena. A guide will meet you there and lead you to safety. Keep a stiff upper lip." Well, I understand everything except that part about my lip. Is that code or something?
No, Dantro. That's just Earth slang, and it means to have courage. Oh, that Slats. I knew he wouldn't sell out to a madman like Marston.
Don't build up your hopes, Pat. We're not out yet. We've got a long ways to go. But we've got to get out. We've got to.
Well, Earthman, what do you think of my little show? You have anything on Earth to match it? Look at those Marlions. They'll teach that planet man Dantro and the Earth Girl to leave Marston alone.
You mean you're really going to turn those beasts loose on the people?
Not on people, just on my enemies. Guards, bring in Dantro and the Earth Girl.
You're really going to do it?
Of course. You did not think Marston made empty threats, did you? If so, you're due for a surprise.
I'm not the only one.
What did you say?
I was thinking about Dantro.
Well, he hasn't much more time to live. Here they come now.
Well, here we are, Pat, ready to give Marston and his stupid puppets their biggest show. This is going to be a tricky one, Pat. We'll have to wait until the Marlions are almost upon us and then spill the liquid in this bottle into the sand at our feet. It evaporates and becomes a gas almost immediately. But if we move too quickly, it will blow away before it can affect them. Our timing must be just right.
Look, they're opening the gate at the other end of the arena. Here come the Marlions. Oh, Dantro, what horrible-looking beasts.
Remember what Slats said, Pat. Keep a stiff upper lip. Stand here next to me. They haven't seen us yet, but they will any second. And then they'll charge. Ready?
I'm ready. There's the door we're supposed to go to. I hope there's no slip-up.
Look out. Here they come.
It will be all over in a minute, my friend. I hope you're enjoying this as much as I am. I've waited to get Planet Man for years. I've dreamed about it at night, and now I have him.
Look! The Marlions are stopping. They're lying down.
Something has gone wrong. Someone has helped them. No, they must not escape death. I've waited too long for this. They're getting away. Guards! Guards!
This way, Pat. Hurry, they'll be after us any minute. Through the door and down this tunnel. There'll be someone waiting at the end.
Don't worry about me. I'm with you.
Turn here. They're right behind us.
Did you see the guy that Slats said would be here?
He should be right at this turn. Something must have gone wrong. We have no time to look for him. Come on, Pat.
Do you know where we're going?
What's the difference as long as we get away? If they catch us again, they won't bother with Marlions. They'll ray us down in our tracks.
What's that up ahead? It looks like daylight.
It is, Pat. That's the jungle that surrounds this palace.
Well, let's head for it. They'll never find us there.
I'm afraid we have no choice. But we may be worse off in that jungle than we were in the arena. There are things out there that even the Marlions fear. But there's nothing else we can do. Come on, Pat. Out we go.
For the moment, it appears that Dantro and Pat have escaped from Marston. Now they face the unknown of the celestial world, the fearful jungle of Mars. We'll be back in a moment. So level off. When we left Dantro and Pat, they were heading into the Martian jungle. This area of Mars is one of the most feared places in the solar system. Its dangers and mysteries have brought death to many an adventurer. At this moment, the entire planet of Mars is in a state of extreme tension. Everyone is in fear of his life, because Marston is determined to seek out the one person who planned the escape of Dantro and Pat from certain death in the Marlion arena. As we look into the chamber of Marston, we hear his mad tirade as he attempts to find the one who betrayed him.
I brought you here because one of you has betrayed me. I'm going to find out who it was, and then I'll show you what happens to those who serve me badly. It must have been one of you guards. No one else had a chance to reach them in the dungeon. No one else. No. Wait a moment. There was one other. That Earthman Slats. It could have been Slats. I was suspicious when he insisted on being taken to them. Bring him here.
Bring the Earthman here.
You looking for me?
Yes, traitor, I am looking for you. See him, FEMA? That is the one.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about the bottle you gave the Planet Man and the Earth Girl when we saw them in the dungeon.
Bottle? What bottle? You're making a mistake.
Don't pretend ignorance. You don't fool me for a minute. Guard, tie him to the table. Tie him well. I want to watch him when he squirms under the nerve whip.
What's a nerve whip?
The nerve whip flays every nerve in the body. But you will have the pleasure of learning that for yourself. Enough conversation. Give him a taste of the whip.
Marston! We've just captured one of the underground. He must have been the one who helped the prisoners. He was hiding in the tunnel under the arena.
So, bring him in. We will soon find out. Untie the ropes there. But don't let the Earthman get out of your sight. I still suspect him of some trickery. Now for you. Who helped in this? Speak up.
There seems to be something wrong with him. He was all right when we brought him in. Here, you. Come on. Get up. All right. Open your eyes.
Put him on the table. Put him on the table. Give him the nerve whip. That will wake him up.
No. Will do no good, Marston. He's dead.
Dead? Dead? How can he be dead? I must know who his accomplice was. I tell you, he must not be dead.
It is useless. Here is the vial of poison he had hidden on him. He can do you no good.
Get out! Get out, all of you!
I will do it alone. Always alone. I can trust no one, depend on no one. I will conquer the solar system alone.
Stay close to me, Pat. Watch out.
Oh, what a strange-looking hole. Did some animal make it?
Oh, I don't know what you'd call it back on Earth, Pat. It's a cross between an animal and an insect. It has glands that make a liquid which dissolves almost anything it touches. We call them slugs. They've been known to eat right through the foundations of an entire city.
Do they attack people?
Not unless they're cornered. But if you were to step or fall into one's den, it would spray you with its deadly fluid before you could move.
Ooh, that's a pleasant thought.
That's why I told you that we might be safer with the marlions. There are beasts in this jungle that have never been captured, but no one ever tries. No one's ever been through here.
Where are we going?
Our only chance is to get through to a clearing somewhere.
Do you know the way?
I think I do, but I'm not sure. When we flew over the jungle on the way here, I saw such a clearing. I memorized its position. I hope I'm right. We haven't much time.
We aren't being followed by Marston's men anymore. What do you mean?
It's not Marston's men I'm worried about. It's the Martian mindless men I fear.
Mindless men?
That's right, Pat. Mindless men. They're outcasts from the mines. Here on Mars, there's a priceless metal. But in its raw state, it gives off fumes that destroy men's minds. It's dug by slaves of Marston who are thrown into the jungle when they've been driven mindless. They become like insane beasts, and they hunt in packs. Even the marlions fear their fury. If we're ever attacked by them, I'm afraid we'll never escape.
Can't we go any faster?
We'll try.
This is Marston receiving on Secret Channel 5Q. What about Professor Darrow? Have you convinced him to join us? No? Well, kidnap the children. Bring them here. With them in our hands, Professor Darrow will sing a different tune. Get them here by tomorrow, and do not fail me.
Will Marston's plan to kidnap Billy and Jane succeed? What is happening to Dantro and Pat in the darkest jungle of Mars? We'll return in a moment. But first, here is a message that the Planet Man wants you to hear. Tune in again for more transcribed thrills and adventures. Rocket millions of light years into space with Dantro, the Planet Man. The Planet Man. The Planet Man. The Planet Man. This is the fascinating story of Dantro, the Planet Man, troubleshooter for the League of Planets organization, the law enforcement body for peace and justice in the celestial world, whose headquarters and center of operations are situated on the capital of all the planets, Planaria Rex. From Mercury to Pluto, wherever danger threatens the universe, you will find Dantro, the Planet Man, fighting for fair play. In a moment, the Planet Man. As you will recall, Dantro the Planet Man and Pat the Earth Girl were deep in the unexplored jungles of Mars, fleeing from Marston, ruler of the Red Planet. Back in his palace, Marston has just given the order to his representative on Planaria Rex to kidnap Pat's cousins Billy and Jane as hostages to make their uncle, Professor Darrow, help Marston conquer the Earth. As we see Dantro and Pat, they are now racing against time to reach safety and thwart Marston's foul plans.
In another few minutes, we should reach that group of ruins. Can you hold out, Pat?
Oh, don't worry about me. I'll be right behind you.
Good girl.
Dantro, wait. I think I saw something move ahead there on the left.
Better keep our voices low.
You don't mean it.
Yes, I do. It's one of the mindless men, and I told you they hunted in packs. There must be more of them about, unless I miss my guess. They're all around us.
If they're surrounded, we can't even run.
That would be the worst thing we could do. Perhaps if we just go on and pretend not to see them, we can make the ruins before they close in. Stay close to me and try not to seem frightened.
Don't worry. You couldn't lose me now if you wanted to. Besides, there's something I don't understand.
What's that?
If their minds have been destroyed, how can they know enough to hunt in packs to surround us? Why don't they just attack?
They'll attack soon enough, and when they do, they never stop.
Ooh, what's that sound? It's horrible.
It means they're closing in. There's nothing to do now but run for it. I think I can see the ruins up ahead. Hurry.
I'm running as fast as I can, but I can't last much longer.
Hang on. Look out, Pat. This hole!
No! Dantro,
Guard, has the ship from Planaria Rex landed yet?
Yes, Marston. It landed a few minutes ago.
Have the two hostages brought here at once. Well, Fema, my ugly one, our plans proceed, huh?
The Earth children are here, Marston.
Hey, don't push her. That's my sister.
Quiet. You're in the presence of the ruler of Mars. Be respectful.
Who, him? Oh, then you're the one who's responsible for us being brought here. You better send us back to Planaria Rex or there's going to be trouble.
Shh, Billy. You shouldn't be so fresh.
Your little sister speaks well, Brat. Hold your tongue, or you will regret it.
You don't scare me, and neither does that snake with wings on your shoulder. What do you want with us anyhow?
I am not in the habit of confiding my plans to children.
Billy, I'm not afraid. Don't get him angry.
Don't worry, Jane. He wouldn't dare hurt us. Dantro would make him sorry he was alive.
Guard! Silence that brat.
You leave my brother alone, you big bully.
Unless you want the same treatment, hold your tongue. As for your precious planet man, neither you nor anyone else will ever see him or the Earth Girl again. They've gone into the jungles that surround this palace, and no one has ever come out alive.
Oh, Billy, did you hear that? He's saying that Dantro and Pat are dead. I don't believe...
Guard, enough of this. These two brats annoy me with their stupidity. If this is a sample of the Earth's young, we're going to have to teach them obedience when we have conquered their planet. Take them away.
Shall I put them in the dungeons, Marston?
Dungeons for those two? Why waste the time? Just put them somewhere where I can't see or hear them. Children bother me. And guard, send my admirals in. I'd better see how my space armada is coming along. If I leave it up to their stupidity, something is certain to go wrong. They should have had a fleet assembled long ago.
Yes, Marston. Come along, you two.
Hey, let
go! Billy, are you all right? Did he hurt you?
I'm all right. That big dummy couldn't hurt me. If I wasn't worried about you, I'd have given him something to remember.
I'm glad you didn't.
It wouldn't do any good, Billy. Say, that clock sure ticks in a strange way. Maybe it needs some oil or something.
Never mind the clock. We'd better start thinking of Dantro and Pat. Do you believe what Marston said?
Gee, I don't know what to think. Something must have happened to Dantro and Pat. But maybe they're just waiting for the right time to strike.
I hear someone coming.
Kids, it's me, Slats. Are you okay?
What are you doing?
We're glad to see you.
Now, one at a time and keep your voices down. If I'm caught talking to you, it'll mean more trouble for all of us.
How did you get here?
That's a long story, and there isn't time to tell it now. The important thing is to help you two escape somehow.
Where are we?
This is an old chronometer room in the palace. It may give us the break we need. Now, if you were down in those dungeons, I'd never been able to work anything.
Do you think you can do it?
Not right away. I'll have to figure things out, but I'll manage somehow.
What about Pat and the Planet Man? Are they dead?
I hope not, Jane. There's a slim chance they may come through the jungle all right. I'd better get going now before somebody comes by here. You keep your chins up. I'll get you out.
Don't worry about us. We're not afraid of that ugly Marston or his pet. I've seen uglier things in comic books.
Good boy. So long now.
Slats seems to have found a way of getting around Marston's headquarters to help his friends. Can he get Billy and Jane out of the grasp of Marston? Is Slats stretching his luck? We'll be back in a moment. So, level off. When we left Slats, he had just contacted Billy and Jane in the palace chronometer room where they were being kept as hostages by Marston. Slats has promised to get them out. We find Slats now trying to figure out a way of helping Billy and Jane. Listen.
I wish I was as sure of myself as a sounder, but I couldn't let the kids know the spot we're in. I can't wait for Dantro and Pat. They may never show up. If only I could get help from Planaria Rex. Say, why not? There must be a radio that reaches there because I know Marston talks to his representative there. If I can get to it for a few minutes, maybe I'll be able to reach Judge Augustus. He'll know what to do. I'll try it now. Where would it be? Near the throne room, I'm sure. Somewhere along here, there's... No, not this door. That's the council chamber. Maybe it's this one here. I'll try it. That's it. I knew it was here somewhere. Now, if I can only have a few minutes. Yeah, let's see here.
I'm tired of excuses. That's all I hear. I give you just 24 hours to assemble the fleet and be ready to blast off for Earth. By then, Professor Darrow should be here with us, and we'll be certain of victory. Now get out, all of you. And remember, if any of you fail me, it will be your last mistake. Go.
Come, Fema. We'll go and contact my representative on Planaria Rex. Perhaps he has some word from Professor Darrow.
Oh, I can't find the mic switch. Someone's liable to come in here any minute. Oh, here it is now. Hello, Planaria Rex. Calling Judge Augustus on Planaria Rex. Can you read me? Come in, Planaria Rex.
Hello, this is Planaria Rex. Who are you?
What goes on? What? You. Guards in here, quickly. Seize him, put him away. We'll deal with him later.
Pat, where are you? Pat, can you hear me?
Dantro, where are we? What's happened? Did the mindless men get us?
I don't know. We seem to have fallen into some sort of cave. At any rate, we're safe here from the mindless men. If they could get to us, they'd have had us by now.
Do you have a light or something?
I have some energy capsules for my flare gun. They took the gun when we were captured, but they overlooked the capsules. If I can find something to hold them with, I can use one as a torch. It'll burn for hours.
Here's an old piece of metal of some kind.
There, that's better.
Dantro, look. It's not a cave, it's a tunnel. See, you can see the carvings on the wall.
Well, it must be a part of those ruins. But I don't understand it. You must still be a mile or so away from the clearing.
Seems to go back the way we came.
I wonder... No, it couldn't be.
What are you thinking?
I was wondering if this could be a connection between these ruins and Marston's palace. I thought some of the foundation stones looked older than his palace.
Do you really think it's possible?
We're going to find out. Come on, we can't do ourselves or anyone else any good out here in the middle of the jungle. At least if we can get back inside the palace, we may be able to stop that maniac somehow.
Well, what are we waiting for? Let's go.
Marston is determined to proceed with his plans for the conquest of Earth, even at the expense of Billy, Jane, and Slats. Can Marston persuade Professor Darrow to join his forces on Mars? We'll be back in a moment. But first, here is a message that Dantro the Planet Man wants you to hear. Tune in again for more transcribed thrills and adventures. Rocket millions of light years into space with Dantro, the Planet Man. The Planet Man. The Planet Man. The Planet Man. This is the fascinating story of Dantro, the Planet Man. Troubleshooter for the League of Planets organization, the law enforcement body for peace and justice in the celestial world, whose headquarters and center of operations are situated on the capital of all the planets, Planaria Rex. From Mercury to Pluto, wherever danger threatens the universe, you will find Dantro, the Planet Man, fighting for fair play. In a moment, the Planet Man. As you know, Dantro the Planet Man and Pat are hurrying through the unknown tunnel of an ancient race that leads back toward the palace of Marston of Mars, where the two Earth children, Billy and Jane, and Slats, their friend, are in the power of the evil Marston, pawns in his plan to conquer the Earth and plunge the League of Planets into war. Now on Planaria Rex, capital of the League of Planets, Judge Augustus is pleading with the representatives of the other planets to wait.
We have not had war between the planets in over 500 centuries. You know what it will mean. No matter who wins, the solar system will be thrown back 1,000 years. Millions will perish. Let us not strike at Mars until we have exhausted every other means of stopping Marston.
Venus will not stand by idly while Mars gets so strong that Marston can make our people his slaves. Venus says strike! Strike while his feet is on the ground! Strike now!
Professor Darrow, we must do something. They're getting angry and they'll not listen. Perhaps you can reason with them.
All right, I'll try.
Gentlemen! Professor Darrow of Earth, whom you have all learned to admire, asks that you listen to him.
Representatives of the League of Planets, I am new among you, but we on Earth know war perhaps better than you who have not seen it in your lifetime. As Judge Augustus says, no one really can win. Yet it may be necessary to strike, but only if all else fails. We have almost 10 hours before the deadline Marston himself has set. Let us at least wait 8 hours before we throw the solar system into chaos.
One question, please. How do we know Marston will wait? This may be just a trick to lull our suspicions. even though he may be preparing to strike at Earth.
We have the cosmic communicator. And we are watching Marston and his fleet. Let us watch it and hold our fleet in readiness 5 million miles in space from Mars. If one ship takes off, we can strike in minutes. Gentlemen, Earth is my home. I have the most to lose. I beg of you, give us 8 hours. Just 8 hours.
Venus says let's listen to Professor Darrow of Earth, for his counsel is wise. Let's wait and watch.
Very well, then. 8 hours from now, if the situation has not changed, we strike. Commander, order the space fleet of the League of Planets to rendezvous 5 million miles from Mars and be ready to strike at a moment's notice. Come, Professor Darrow. Let us go to my office where we can talk.
It can't be much further, Pat. Unless I miss my guess, we should be on the outskirts of Marston's Palace clearing by now.
What's that up ahead? Looks like the end of the tunnel. It's a blank wall. Tantrum, we're trapped.
Don't get excited, Pat. Look over there to the left. See that outline? It's a door.
Oh, thank goodness. Can you open it?
There must be a lever hidden somewhere here. Wait. Here, you see this raised block? Watch what happens when I push it.
What? The wall, it's opening. No, it's disappearing.
That's right. It wasn't really rock like the rest. It was a force field, a method of turning the atoms of the air into solid matter. Well, I'll explain it to you later. We have no time to waste.
What are we going to do?
I don't know yet, but we have to go on and hope for the best. Come on, up this way.
Listen. Hey, you. Hey, guard.
Quiet. Earth dog.
Never mind the compliments. How much longer am I going to have to be in this hole? It's damp and my corns are killing me.
You should be grateful for every minute you spend in that dungeon. When the word comes to open the door, it'll mean the end of your miserable life. I've orders to take you to the field where the fleet is gathered and kill you in sight of the men as an example of how they're to treat any Earthman who tries to resist Marston's rule.
That's nice. Thanks for the tip.
There's the signal.
All right, I'm coming. Don't push. I told you my feet hurt.
Don't worry. In a few moments, they'll stop hurting. Forever.
We've been climbing steadily. Must be an opening into the palace along here somewhere.
I just hope we don't come out in the middle of Marston's throne room. Say, I wonder what happened to Slats. Do you think Marston found out it was he who helped us escape?
I hope not. Wouldn't be pleasant. But Slats is smart. I'm sure he's safe somewhere. Here, stop. This looks like a panel in the wall.
Can you get it open?
Yes, this is the work of the underground. It just slides up, see?
Careful. What's outside?
Oh, it's all right. It's just a passageway somewhere in the palace. From the moisture on the walls, I'd say it's down in the dungeon somewhere.
Get back in here. Someone's coming. Hear them?
Yes, you're right. Wait, we'll leave the panel open just a crack. Maybe we'll be able to see who it is.
Slats and a guard. They must have gotten wise. What are they going to do to him?
I'm not going to wait to find out. Maybe we can knock out the guard and free Slats. It's a long chance, but if you're game, we'll try it.
You know better than to even ask me. Be careful, though. That guard has a ray gun.
Don't worry. I'll be careful. Here they come. I'll wait till they get by and then come up behind them.
Now, Dantro. Now!
Hey, what's going on here? What? Dantro, where'd you come from?
Never mind that now. Get in here quickly. Pat, close the panel.
Thank goodness. I thought you'd both gone. Where you been? How'd you get here?
All that later, Slats. What's been happening? Was Marston's fleet taken off yet? Has the war begun? Have you heard from Judge Augustus?
Now you're doing it. Give me a chance. One question at a time.
It appears that things might take a turn for the better now that Slats, Pat, and Dancho are together. What will be their next move? We'll be back in a moment. So level up. When we left Dancho, Pat, and Slats, they were together in a secret passageway under Marston's palace. for they were discussing their next possible move so that they could free Billy and Jane and thwart Marston's plan to conquer Earth. We find them now as Slats is being questioned by Dantro in an effort to understand what has happened since he and Pat escaped from Marston. Slats is speaking.
The kids are in an old storeroom on the level above us. Marston's given the professor 24 hours to join him, and it looks like interplanetary war is inevitable.
24 hours? How long ago was that?
I'm not sure. They took my chronometer. I'd say about 18 hours. Why?
Oh, Slats, how can you ask a question like that? Doctor, we have to do something.
First thing we have to do is to try to free those kids. Let's go.
It's right along here somewhere. They haven't bothered to post a card. They think the kids are nothing to worry about. They don't know them as well as I do.
Hurry, Slats.
Yeah, I'm hurrying. I don't want to open the wrong door and walk in on Marston's War Council. Not yet, anyway. Wait a minute. Here it is. Quiet now. There. That does it.
Billy? Jane? Here, it's Pat.
Oh, they're gone. Marston must have moved them somewhere else. If he's harmed those kids, I'll stick that ugly flying cobra down his throat.
We can't stay here and talk about it. Someone will come along this corridor any second. Come on.
Where are we going?
Back to the secret panel.
What good will that do? Let's hunt that Marston down and make him tell us where those kids are.
I know how you feel, Slats, but there's more at stake than the safety of Billy and Jane. We won't do any good if we get caught or killed trying to help them. Let's get back to the secret passage. We'll stop Marston somehow.
6 hours. No, it's 4 hours. We must strike 2 hours before Marston's deadline. That was the understanding. Have you thought of anything?
I have an idea, but I'm afraid you wouldn't like it.
What is it?
Suppose I pretend to go over to Marston. Let him think I've joined forces with him.
What good will that do?
It will gain us time. Then maybe if I am close to him, I can contact Dantro, Pat, or Slats and somehow stop him. At least it means the kids will be safe for a little while.
No, I cannot permit it. With you on our side, at least we have someone who, if necessary, can rally the Earth's people to battle. Someone they know and trust. Without you, they would be confused between our world and Marston's. You must not risk your life even to save those you love. Remember, a whole solar system hangs in the balance. Millions of lives against theirs. It's a difficult choice. But you must see your duty.
Yes, you're right. But it's so awful to sit here helpless while the minutes tick away and absolute destruction comes closer and closer.
Time is running out for the solar system. War seems to be upon it. Can Dantro plan any move that will stop Marston at this late hour? And what has happened to Billy and Jane? We'll be back in a moment. But first, here is a message the Planet Man wants you to hear. Tune in again for more transcribed thrills and adventure. Rocket millions of light years into space with Dantro, the Planet Man. The Planet Man. The Planet Man. The Planet Man. This is the fascinating story of Dantro, the Planet Man. Troubleshooter for the League of Planets organization, the law enforcement body for peace and justice in the celestial world, whose headquarters and center of operations are situated on the capital of all the planets, Planaria Rex. From Mercury to Pluto, wherever danger threatens the universe, you will find Dantro, the Planet Man, fighting for fair play. In a moment, the Planet Man. remember that Planet Man, Pat, and Slats are deep in the ancient tunnels beneath the palace of Marston, evil ruler of Mars. They have what they believe to be just 6 hours to thwart Marston's plans to conquer the Earth and throw the solar system into war. Billy and Jane, held as hostages by Marston, have disappeared. Back on Planaria Rex, Judge Augustus and Professor Darrow hope for some miracle to stop Marston before the deadline set by the other planets to strike, actually only 4 hours away. In the meantime, Dantrell, Slats, and Pat are desperately seeking a plan to stop Marston and save Billy and Jane.
Whatever we do, Slats, we must be right. It'll be tough, but if we could only eliminate Marston, we'll throw the whole campaign into confusion. That's the weakness of dictatorship, Slats. When something happens to the dictator, no one is trained to think for himself.
Yeah, I guess you're right, but...
Dantrell, Slats, come here, hurry.
Something's wrong. Let's go.
Yeah. Hey, where are you, Pat?
Up ahead of you, here.
What's wrong, Pat? Are you hurt?
Oh, I'm all right. But look at what I found. I was just sort of exploring while you two were talking, and I leaned against the wall here, and a whole section of it disappeared. There's some kind of a room in there with machinery in it.
Boy, oh boy, look at that stuff. That gadget looks big enough to be almost anything. What is it, Dantrell?
It's one of the ancient machines. It seems to be in perfect condition. We've found them before, but they've always been wrecked or damaged.
Will it help us? Maybe we can use it against Marston.
Can you operate it?
Well, I can try. Let's see. This looks like a power switch. We'll throw it and find out.
You've done it. You've done it. How wonderful.
Not so fast, Pat. That's just the power. Do you realize how remarkable this is? This machine is at least 40,000 years old, and it works as though it were built yesterday.
Hey, what's this stuff over here?
Oh, no, don't touch anything, Slats. Until we've had a chance to figure out the way the different parts work, we may destroy it or ourselves.
It does look something like your cosmic communicator. See, there's a kind of a screen.
You're right, Pat. Here, let me try those dials. Easy now.
Hey, look, the screen's lighting up.
Something's forming on it. What is that, Dantrell?
It's a picture, all right, but I don't recognize anything. Wait, let's try some different adjustments.
I recognize that. It's the jungle outside the palace. See, that's one of the ruins we passed. Remember that funny-looking tower?
Right, you are. I think I've got the hang of it now. Let's look in on a few friends and enemies and see what's been going on.
Stay close to me, Jane, and don't make a sound.
Where are we going?
I don't know, but any place is better than that storeroom Marston had us cooped up in.
I'm glad that guard left the door unlocked.
Girls always talk too much. I told you to be quiet.
All right. But I was wondering what happened to Slats. He was going to come back.
You can't worry about that now. We've got to try and get away from that awful Marston.
Do you really think we can?
Will you be quiet?
All right. Look, there's a window or something.
I see it.
Billy, be careful.
I'm just looking out. Hey, come here. Wow.
There must be 1,000 spaceships out there.
Gosh, it sure looks bad for the Earth.
What do you mean?
Oh, Jane, you're so dumb. That's the fleet Marston's going to use to attack the Earth. They won't have a chance. One of those big jobs could probably do it all alone.
Billy, don't talk like that.
I can't help it, but it's true. They can just sit up in space where our planes and guns can't reach them and destroy anything they like. From what I've heard the guards say, just their rays alone can wipe out a city like New York in a few minutes.
Isn't there something somebody can do? I wish Dantrell were here. He'd stop me.
Well, he's not, so it's up to us.
Up to us? Billy, what are you talking about? What can we do?
I don't know, but we can't just stand here.
Only we could somehow warn the Earth. Then people could at least go into air raid shelters and places like that. Even if Marston did destroy the buildings, the people would be all right.
If is right. Hey, gee, maybe that's an idea.
What are you talking about?
Listen carefully. You see those little ships right over here near the palace?
Sure. What about them?
You notice how everybody seems to be busy around the big ones?
That's right. There's nobody over with the small ones at all. But what good does that do us?
I'll bet if we tried, we could sneak into one of them.
Well, suppose we did. What good would that do?
Gosh, don't be so dumb. We could take off and fly to Earth and warn the people about Marston.
Billy, you're crazy. You can't fly one of those.
I'll bet I can. I've watched Dantrell when he was flying the Planeteer, and I'm sure I remember what to do.
Billy, where are you going?
Down to the field.
Billy, wait for me!
Will Billy and Jane be able to get into one of the Armada ships? And if they do, what then? We'll be back in a moment, so level up. When we left Billy and Jane, they were trying to sneak aboard one of the Marston Armada spaceships. They hoped to take off and warn Earth of the impending attack from Mars. In the meantime, Dantro, Pat, and Slats have discovered a most amazing device in the depths of Marston's palace, which was part of an ancient Martian civilization. As we find them now, they are operating this device.
Look, there's the League of Planets fleet. There must be 5,000 ships.
The greatest concentration of power in history of the solar system, Pat. And it's all going to hit right here if we don't do something.
But what can we do? We've been trying to figure this machine out for an hour, and all we can do is look in and listen to people. At least if we could figure out how to send messages, we might be able to tell Judge Augustus and Professor Darrow what's happening.
And we have 2 hours less than we thought we did.
Yeah.
How much time is left before the deadline, Dantro?
About 2 hours now, Pat.
Can't you figure out how to work this overgrown pipe organ?
I'm doing the best I can, Slats. If only I could understand the symbols the ancients used, it would be much easier. But as it is, I'm just guessing.
Why don't we just pull down all the things at once?
Slats, you're an engineer. You know better than that. I'm sure a machine as powerful as this has some kind of an anti-tampering control built in. If we fool around too much, the whole thing will cut off.
Leave him alone, Slats. If you keep interrupting, it'll just be that much longer.
That's all right, Pat. Sometimes questions like that make you think of things you wouldn't have otherwise.
Okay, I'll shut up. Let's get back to work.
This way, Jane. Duck down here next to me. Billy,
I hear footsteps. There's a guard or something coming.
Jane, I hear them too. Now, just stay here and be quiet.
That was close. Where do we go now?
I think if we go out that door, there's a wall we can follow that'll take us to within a few yards of a ship. Come on. I was right. See, there's a ship over there.
We aren't going to go across that open space, are we?
How else can we get there?
Someone will see us.
Let's not even think about it. Get ready now. Come on.
Billy, we made it.
Let's just hope there's no one on board. The control deck must be up this way.
I hope you know what you're doing.
It's too late now to turn back.
Look at all those gadgets. Are you sure you remember how to work them?
Sure. Just leave everything to me.
What are you doing? What's that for?
That's the switch that turns on the atomic pile and makes graphite rods slide out. Anyhow, it's something like that.
What are you doing now?
Will you be quiet? I'm trying to concentrate. I'm sure this thing makes us right. And then this one is the direction control.
I'm scared.
Why, you girls, you're always scared.
Maybe I am, but I'm right here with you anyhow. You think you're fooling me, but you're not. You're just as scared as I am, only you won't admit it.
All right. Only, gee whiz, stop gabbing, won't you? How do you expect me to think? Well, here goes.
Billy, we're going up.
What did you think we'd do? Go down? Earth, here we come.
Captains, you know our plan. In an hour and a half, we strike. Scout ships will move in ahead and pick the targets. You, Captain Tor, will take your Mercurian heat ray cruisers in on the left flank, and you, Sark, will cover the right with your disintegrators. The Venusian atomic artillery platforms will hover at 500,000 miles and bombard targets of opportunity. I will be in the center, and...
Sir, one of our patrols just reported a Martian scout taking off.
One ship, you say, a scout?
Yes, sir.
Gentlemen, this is what we've been waiting for. We will strike now, but first we must destroy that scout. It may be a trick of some sort. Captain Mato, take 2 light cruisers, intercept that scout, and burn it out of space. The rest of you, back to your ships and stand by for the order to attack.
It looks as though the greatly feared war of the solar system is at hand. And all because the League of Planets squadron doesn't know that the Martian ship which just took off is being piloted by Billy and Jane, who hope to prevent the war by their getaway. What will be the fate of Billy and Jane? What is the fate of the entire planet world? We'll be back in a moment. But first, here is a message the Planet Man wants you to hear. Tune in again for more transcribed thrills and adventures. Rocket millions of light years into space with Dantro, the Planet Man. The Planet Man. The Planet Man. The Planet Man. This is the fascinating story of Dantro, the Planet Man, troubleshooter for the League of Planets organization, the law enforcement body for peace and justice in the celestial world, whose headquarters and center of operations are situated on the capital of all the planets, Planaria Rex. From Mercury to Pluto, wherever danger threatens the universe, you will find Dantro, the Planet Man, fighting for fair play. In a moment, the Planet Man. You will recall that Dantro, the Planet Man, Pat and Slats are racing against time to solve the mysterious powers of the ancient machine beneath Marston's palace. Billy and Jane, having escaped from Marston, are now speeding away from Mars on a stolen spaceship, speeding right into the ray guns of the League of Planets fleet, which thinks it to be one of Marston's vanguard. Now Jane is talking to Billy.
Are we headed for Earth, Billy?
I hope so. I was sure I remembered everything Planet Man did when he drove the Planeteer. But I never realized it could be so many dials and levers and gadgets.
You got us off the field, all right.
Yeah, but I can't seem to figure out the rest of this stuff. But don't worry, Jane, I will. Just give me time.
I want that ship blasted out of space. Captain, take off at once, follow that ship and catch it. If you have to go all the way to Pluto. When you do, destroy it.
Nothing is going to stop us, is it, FEMA? Soon now our fleet will head for Earth. In a week, that stupid planet will be under our control. Then the rest of the planets will not dare stand against us. If they do, we will smash them.
I'm sure this section of the machine is a sending apparatus. Well, it's not like anything I've ever seen. There's so many extra adjustments. What are you getting on the receiver, Slats?
We've been watching Planaria Rex and the League of Planets fleet. Something funny is happening with the fleet. It isn't time for them to strike yet. There's over an hour left, but they've been grouping in battle formation, and 2 cruisers just went off in the direction of Mars.
You don't think they're going ahead without waiting?
No, I know the Admiral, and he's a stickler for orders. If he's been told to wait, he'll wait. Here, you see if you can get any sense out of this, Slats. Let me take over that spy ray for a few minutes. I better check and see just what is going on.
Okay, I'll take a crack at it, but if it's got you stuck, I'm sure it'll be even worse for me.
I'll turn it back to Marston and see how our ugly friend is getting along.
Look, there's a ship taking off there. See, at the end of the field.
That must be why the League of Planets fleet is getting ready for action. Their orders are to strike if any of Marston's ships take off. But none of the other ships in Marston's fleet seem to be ready to rise.
Turn it back to the League of Planets fleet. Maybe we'll learn something from them.
Good idea, Pat. There.
Look at that, Dantro. Oh, if I wasn't so worried about the reason, I'd think it was beautiful. Thousands of spaceships, and they move as though they were one.
They know what they're doing, all right. I just hope they don't have to do it. I think I'll try to pick up the flagship. That's it. Now we'll move into the control deck and see what we can learn.
The Martian scout ship has not changed course. It's some kind of trick. We'll give the ship one chance to surrender, and if they refuse, we'll blast them at once. We must not chance betraying our presence to Marston.
They must be talking about that ship we just saw take off.
There's something funny about that. I heard the Admiral say scout, didn't you, Slats?
Yeah, that's what he said. What about it?
That ship we saw take off from Mars was a cruiser, not a scout.
You mean there's another ship?
We'll find out in a minute.
You can't cover all of space.
No, but we know the ship, whatever it is headed from the field toward the fleet. We'll just backtrack. See, like this. Now keep your eyes on the screen. Even with this powerful machine, a scout ship in space is an awfully small target.
Wait. Hold it. Is that it there?
I think you're right. Let me sharpen the focus a little. You are right, that's it.
Well, who can it be? They're headed right into the fleet. They're either trying to commit suicide or just plain crazy.
Well, we've got more important things to worry about than that. The 2 cruisers the Admiral dispatched will take care of that ship.
I know you'll both think I'm silly, but I just feel we should look inside that scout.
Pat, we've got no time to waste. If we don't figure this machine out in the next hour, we'll all be in the soup.
Oh, please, Dantor, just one look.
I see the women from Earth are as curious as those from the other planets. All right, Pat, one quick look. We'll just move in like this and... No, I don't believe it. It can't be.
The kids. How the diggers did they get there? What are they doing in that ship?
Billy, Jane. Oh, Dantor, they're all right after all.
We're in a bad spot. Now I know why that second ship took off from Mars. It's after them. Billy was always trying to get me to teach him to fly a spaceship. I guess they stole that one somehow and managed to get it into the air.
Let's listen to them for a minute. Maybe we can find out how they did it.
There's no time now, Pat. We've just got to get the sending part of this machine working. If that Martian cruiser ever catches them, it'll be too bad. And I'm afraid that the League of Planets fleet is too busy to ask questions before they blast. It's up to us to save them. Come on, Slats, let's get to work.
Can Dandro and Slats get the sending apparatus of the ancient machine in operation and inform the Admiral of the League of Planets squadron that Billy and Jane are in the scout ship? Will the Martian cruiser overtake Billy and Jane and blast them out of space? We'll be back in a moment, so level off. When we left Dantro, Slats, and Pat, they were trying to get the sending apparatus of the ancient machine to operate in order to inform the Admiral of the League of Planets squadron that the Martian scout was being piloted by Billy and Jane. Now we see the Admiral as he proceeds with his plan.
Tell them to proceed according to plan.
Just a moment, Admiral.
Dantro, how did you get here? Where did you come from? No one told me you'd come aboard.
I'm not really aboard, Admiral, but there's no time for that now. You must give those 2 cruisers orders not to harm that scout ship.
Not harm it? Are you crazy? We can't afford to let them get word back to Master that we're out here waiting.
Don't worry, they won't. That's not the enemy. There are only 2 in that ship, the Earth children, Billy and Jane Darrow.
Are you sure you know what you're talking about?
Admiral, you've known me for a long time. I ask you to believe me. Please, give the orders.
Very well, but I hope you know what you're doing. Order the 2 cruisers to keep the ship under surveillance, but to hold their fire until further word from me. Now, Dantro, what's this about your not being aboard? I can see that you're there in front of me. I can hear you. You're not going to tell me I'm seeing things?
In a way, you are. Actually, I'm 5 million miles away in a room under Marston's palace.
What? You're joking.
Just believe me, and don't worry, Admiral. It's not magic. But there's something else I must tell you now. You must not attack Marston's fleet now.
Not attack Marston? Why, you're going too far, sir. I have my orders.
But you don't understand. This machine may give us an answer that will stop Marston and still avoid war. Once your fleet strikes, war's inevitable.
That is not in my province to discuss. I am an officer under the orders of the League of Planets, and my orders were to attack if a ship left the field on Mars.
But I told you those 2 kids are on that ship.
Dantro, I know you and respect you. I have rescinded my orders to attack that scout, but now you ask me to hold up the entire fleet? That is too much.
Give me an hour, then. 1 hour. Isn't it worth waiting if we can avoid solar war?
Well, very well. I may be making a mistake, but I will give you that hour. But that is all. I cannot wait another second beyond it.
Thank you, Admiral. I hope it'll be enough.
Where are you going now?
There's a Martian cruiser pursuing those kids. They're getting ready to blast them out of space. I have to stop that somehow.
Oh, wait! Where did he go? Confound it. How can he be here one moment and gone the next?
Traitors to Mars, whoever they are. Now, we are coming to the range of the scout ship. Stand by to burn them out of space.
Not so fast.
Planet man.
Your ray gun can't hurt me, Captain. Nothing you can do can hurt me.
This is some trick. How did you get on board? Seize him. Get a good hold on him. Why are your hands passing through him?
Take my word for it, you can't harm me. I'm only an image. Now listen, you must turn back to Mars.
Who are you to tell me not to obey Marston? I have my orders, and nothing will stop me from carrying them out. Prepare to destroy that scout.
Captain, if you do not listen, you'll regret it.
Planet man, you do not frighten me. I would consider it an honor to die for our leader, Marston.
Very well. You may have the chance.
Do you know where we are now, Billy? We're still heading out from Mars, but I'm sure we're heading the right way. I'll figure it out sooner or later. I wish... Hey, look. I must be dreaming. We're both dreaming. It can't be.
You're not dreaming. It's Dantro in a way, but there's no time to talk. Billy, snap that switch over there. It'll turn on the radar screen.
What's that on the screen?
It's a Martian cruiser. Unless we can do something about it, it's going to burn this scout ship in about a minute.
Well, I'm glad you're here. Here, you take the control.
No, Billy. I can't explain now, but it wouldn't do any good if I took over. I can't operate the ship. I'm not really here.
What can we do?
You two kids will have to do it. I'll tell you what to do and how. But you'll have to do the actual work. Do you think you can?
Sure. Come on, Jane.
No. Jane will have to man the turret and fire the heat rays. Billy, you'll operate the ship. Listen to me closely and do just as I tell you. If my plan works, we may get away yet.
Billy and Jane are now being guided by the three-dimensional image of Dantro. Will Billy and Jane follow through on Dantro's split-second instructions? Can they fight off the Martian cruiser? We'll be back in a moment. But first, here is a message that the Planet Man wants you to hear. Tune in again for more transcribed thrills and adventures. Rocket millions of light years into space with Dantro, the Planet Man. The Planet Man. The Planet Man. The Planet Man. This is the fascinating story of Dantro, the Planet Man, troubleshooter for the League of Planets organization, the law enforcement body for peace and justice in the celestial world, whose headquarters and center of operations are situated on the capital of all the planets, Planaria Rex. From Mercury to Pluto, wherever danger threatens the universe, you will find Dantro, the Planet Man, fighting for fair play. In a moment, the Planet Man. You will recall that Billy and Jane were in a stolen scout ship with Marston's pursuing cruiser about to blast them out of space. Through the use of an ancient machine they found in the tunnels beneath Marston's palace, Pat, Slats, and Dantro have managed to project a three-dimensional image of Dantro into Billy's and Jane's fleeing scout ship. Planet Man is just telling them what to do.
You see, Billy, what you're looking at is not really me, but a three-dimensional picture of me, projected through space. I'm actually back with Pat and Slats in the tunnel under Marston's palace. Here, touch me. Yeah, see? Nothing. I'm not solid, so I can't possibly work the controls and fight off that Martian cruiser. You'll have to help.
Okay, I'm ready.
How about you, Jane?
I've never fired a ray gun before, but I'll try.
That's the girl. Now, Billy, we'll let them get close enough for one battery of ray guns to be effective. Billy, you're going to have to listen more carefully than you ever have in your life. And you, Jane, when I tell you, squeeze those two grips and hold them that way. The guns aim and fire automatically, but they have to be activated by hand.
They're getting pretty close.
Good. I'd hope they do that. They're probably trying to make sure they get us with the first salvo. Let them come in a little more and then hit that button on the left. Count 3 aloud and then release it. That should bring us around so that the ray turret can bear right on them. Jane, when you hear Billy say 3, squeeze, and don't let go until I tell you to.
I'll be too scared to let go.
Ready now? I'll count. And when I get to 4, it will be time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now!
1, 2, 3. Okay, Jane, squeeze.
Squeezing? What's happening?
Oh, look at the screen. We got it, though. We got it right in the middle. This ship's breaking right in half. It's exploding.
That was one chance in a million. We hit their atomic pile. Well, there's no sense hanging around. There won't be any survivors. You can stop squeezing now, Jane. It's all over. Listen, Billy. I'm going to tell you how to set a course that will take you to Planaria Rex. They'll watch for you and help you land from that end. Just leave your radio on so they can give you instructions.
Don't worry about us. Just tell me what to do and I'll take care of everything.
Well, now the kids are safe, but there's only a little less than an hour before the Admiral will order the fleet to strike at Marston.
That's right. Do you really think this machine will be able to stop that Dantro?
Well, it will if we can figure it out. I'm beginning to understand how it works. And if I'm right, it will solve the problem perfectly.
What do you mean?
You remember that machine you saw in Planaria Rex? The one that could transmit solid objects through space by breaking them down into energy at one end and assembling them again at the other?
Sure. I was hoping to get the franchise for that, and on Earth, I'd put the post office out of business.
Well, I believe this machine is capable of doing that from a distance. If I have it figured right, it should be able to take Marston's entire space armada and transfer it to any planet. One so far away that would make them centuries to get back, even if they had enough fuel.
Well, what are we waiting for? Let's do it.
Not so fast. That's what I think the machine can do. If only I could get someone who had a really good scientific mind to help me.
Someone like my father.
Yeah, he'd be perfect. He sometimes seems to know how a machine works just by looking at it. So, I've got an idea. It sounds kind of crazy, maybe, but...
Don't be ashamed to say it. Sometimes crazy ideas are just what you need. The kind that normally wouldn't occur to anyone.
Yes, Slats, what is it?
Well, see, I was just thinking... With this machine, you were able to send an image of yourself all over space, and you could act just as if you were actually there, only you couldn't really do anything but look and talk. Now, maybe you could somehow get an image of Professor Dara down here in the tunnel, and then he could tell you what he thought, and it'd be just like the two of you were actually working it out together.
Well, that's a wonderful idea, isn't it, Dantro?
Oh, it sounds fine. Let's try it. Slats,
yeah?
Set the screen on Judge Augustus' office. That's where they said they'd wait.
Okay. There. Yeah, look, they're waiting all right, and they look plenty worried.
Here, let me talk to them. Judge Augustus, Professor Darrow, we need your help, Professor. I don't know if it will work, but we're going to try to bring a 3-dimensional image of yourself down here into the tunnel.
What do you want me to do?
Just get up and stand in the center of the room. If we succeed, you'll know as soon as we do. Stand still so I can get a good lineup.
Is it working?
I'm not sure, Pat. Let's watch.
Well, oh, my
hello,
goodness.
Professor.
What do you know? Professor Dara, fancy meeting you here.
Oh, Father, am I glad to see you.
So this is where you've been hiding out. It doesn't look very comfortable. Well, now, what's the problem? I'm sure you didn't go to all that trouble just to talk about the weather. Let's get to work.
Dantro is trying the impossible with this extraordinary device. He has succeeded in projecting Professor Darrow's image into the tunnel so that the professor could help and then figure out how the machine can be used to break up the Martian armada. Is such a feat possible? We'll be back in a moment, so level off. When we left Dantro, he, Slats, and Pat were talking to the image of Professor Darrow and trying to get his help in figuring out the energy breakup facilities of the fantastic ancient machine. Outside of Marston's palace, the Martian fleet is ready to take off for the attack on Earth. Marston is directing the operations.
All right, quiet, you fools. You have less than 10 minutes. I have decided not to wait for Professor Darrow. He's had plenty of time to decide. Those two brats will have to take the consequences.
Marston.
Don't bother me now. I have no time for trivialities. If I don't supervise everything personally, nothing ever goes right. I mean to see that this field is cleared in 10 minutes. My ship will take off last. Where is that cruiser that I sent after that traitorous scout crew? Why aren't they back yet?
Marston, I must tell you.
Well, what do you want? It had better be important.
The Planet Man is down in the tunnel with the Earth Girl and that Slack.
What? Planet Man? Are you certain?
Yes, Marston. They overpowered me.
Are they still there?
Yes, Marston. They are working with some machine of the ancients which they discovered.
Could you lead me to them?
Of course, Marston.
Tara! You take over here on the field. See that the Armada gets off on its way to Earth. Then wait here for me with my ship. Guard, lead the way. This time, FEMA and I will take care of Planet Man and his meddling friends. This time, I will personally burn them down. Then there will be no slips, no mistakes. Now hurry, you fool, and be quiet. We must surprise them.
It's hard for me to think without being able to actually touch the different parts of the machine. I think I understand it, though.
It's so different from anything we have. What's your idea?
That bank of controls must be directional. That switch must activate the energy beam that does the carrying. There's the aiming dial, and this is the master control that links them into one function.
You're right. I'm sure you're right. That's the only way it can be. Shall we try it?
Go ahead. I'll keep my fingers crossed.
You'll have to help me, Pat. Professor Darrow, you check us just in case. First, I'll get the Martian Armada on the screen. There. Now, where shall we send them?
How about Pluto?
Well, that's perfect. They'd never get enough fuel to get back from there. Now, Pat, throw the switch. Looks as though we're all set, Professor.
That's it. Now the master control.
Done. And it worked. Look, the field is empty. Not even a scout ship left.
Oh, Father, you were right. The whole Armada gone without a trace. It's as though they never existed, and Earth is safe.
Yeah, Earth and us. I was afraid for a while that Marston was going to have his fun after all.
And so he will, my traitorous friend, and so he will.
What do you want?
I thought he was
No,
aboard
I
one of
was
the ships.
not aboard any ship, not yet. My fleet is gone, but I am still here. And I shall at least have the satisfaction of burning you down one by one. Professor Darrow, we have never met before. I'm sorry it must be so short an acquaintance, but why are you so silent? Surely the great scientist from Earth can think of a few last words.
Dantro, he thinks my father's really here. He doesn't know it's just a projected image.
You're right. Only Professor Darrow realizes that he may be able to save us. I'm afraid to try to tell him. It might give the whole thing away.
What are you two whispering about? Come.
Why don't you stop torturing us? If you're going to burn us down, get it over with.
I am enjoying this little chat, aren't you? Oh, by the way, Professor Darrow, may I compliment you on your reasoning? I couldn't have done much better. That machine is certainly a wonder. I think I'll send Planaria Rex into the sun with it first.
I didn't realize he'd know about the machine. We must do something.
Oh, yes. I stood here quietly while you worked it all out for me. It's just what I wanted. With it, I will need no one's help. No clumsy, meddling fools to spoil my plans. I can rule the solar system alone. Just FEMA and I. But I am bored with this conversation. I think it's time we said goodbye to our friends, FEMA. One last goodbye.
What a turn of fate. After succeeding in the phenomenal try of putting the entire Marston Armada out of commission, Dantro, Pat, Slats, and the image of Professor Darrow are held at bay by Marston's ray gun. One by one, they are to be destroyed. We'll be back in a moment. But first, here is a message that Dantro the Planet Man wants you to hear. Tune in again for more transcribed thrills and adventures. Rocket millions of light years into space with Dantro, the Planet Man. The Planet Man. The Planet Man. The Planet Man. This is the fascinating story of Dantro, the Planet Man, troubleshooter for the League of Planets organization, the law enforcement body for peace and justice in the celestial world, whose headquarters and center of operations are situated on the capital of all the planets, Planaria Rex. From Mercury to Pluto, wherever danger threatens the universe, you will find Dantro, the Planet Man, fighting for fair play. In a moment, the Planet Man. Marston has surprised the Planet Man, Pat, Slats, and what he believes to be Professor Darrow in the tunnel under his palace. They had just used the ancient machine they found there to transport Marston's entire fleet to a remote planet and end his threat to solar peace. Now, however, things look very bad. As we find them, Marston is gloating over his luck in catching them all and also in finding the machine. But he is unaware that Professor Darrow is really not there. What he really sees is only a three-dimensional image projected by the machine.
Yes, Planet Man, I will save you for last. You can watch me take care of your friends one by one, then it will be your turn to pay the penalty for opposing the will of Marston. With you taken care of, I shall use this machine you have so kindly discovered to teach the League of Planets a lesson. First, I shall send Planaria Rex into the sun, then the other planets one by one will feel the weight of my power. Yes, Fema, it is just you and I against the solar system. But with this machine, we shall win.
We must do something to prevent his getting this machine. It's more dangerous than his fleet, and there can be no defense against it.
Stop whispering. What does it matter? You are all going to die. I think I've waited long enough. Who will be first?
Even you couldn't be low enough to shoot us down without a chance.
Quiet. I need no lessons from you, Professor. Be quiet or you will be the first.
Marston still doesn't know that that's only an image of my father he's talking to.
I hope Professor Darrow acts. He's our only chance.
Marston, you don't really think we're afraid of you?
I know you're afraid of me. You are not fools, and no sane man wants to die.
I'll show you.
Don't come near me. I'll shoot.
Shoot, then.
I warned you.
Look, the ray went right through him. It's hit the machine. Look out!
Is everyone all right? Dantro, where are you going?
After Marston. He went down into the tunnel.
Oh, be careful. He's armed.
I have the ray gun. I took it from the guard.
We'll wait here for you.
Gosh, he's a brave man. I'd hate to go down there in the dark after that
I
maniac.
wish there was some way we could help him.
Oh, I'm not really worried. I think he can outsmart or outray Marston any day in the week.
Well, I hope you're right. Say, we forgot to check the machine.
Not much left to check, I'm afraid. Just look at it.
Maybe it can be rebuilt.
Oh, I doubt it. From the way Dantro talked, no one knows enough about the ancient science to do the job. We were lucky to find it in working order and then be able to figure out how to operate it.
I hate to think what we would have done without it. You know, in a way, maybe it's just as well it has been destroyed. Think of what would have happened if Marston or someone like him ever really got hold of it.
Yeah, it'd be like he said. He and FEMA would rule the solar system. Great blazing asteroid.
Oh, what's the matter? What's wrong?
I just thought of something that scares me.
Slats, will you please tell me what you're talking about?
FEMA, that's what I'm talking about, FEMA.
Oh, what about FEMA?
You know what she is, don't you? A Martian flying cobra, one of the deadliest things that ever lived. Her venom just has to touch your skin and you die instantly.
I know all that. What about it?
Sure you know all about it. We all know all about it, but I'll bet you Dantro isn't even thinking about it. He's down there chasing Marston through those dark tunnels, thinking things are pretty even with both of them holding ray guns, and I'll bet you he's never even given a thought to that FEMA. She can see in the dark, too.
Slats, you're right. We must warn Dantro somehow.
Well, there's only one way to do it. It looks like I'm elected.
Are you going after them?
Yeah, there's no other way. Wish me luck.
I do, Slats. Please be careful, but try to reach Dantro in time.
Marston! Marston, do you hear me? You might as well surrender. You can't run forever.
Surrender? That's your answer. Marston will never surrender.
Dantro and Marston are locked in deadly battle. Slats, the engineer, is trying to warn Dantro of FEMA, whose presence gives Marston the edge. We'll be back in a moment, so level up. When we left Dantrell, he was pursuing Marston through the treacherous underground tunnels. Marston has fired on Dantrell but missed. Slats, in the meantime, has gone to warn Dantrell of FEMA, the deadly Martian cobra who is with Marston. Dantrell is unaware of FEMA's presence, and he stands vulnerable to attack in the tunnel.
Dantrell! Dantrell! Where the dickens are they? I can't keep this place up much longer. I just got to find them before it's too late. Dantrell! Dantrell, it's me, Slats!
Only we had some way of knowing whether your trick worked, Professor Darrow. You say you deliberately drew Marston's fire, knowing that his ray would pass right through your image? Do you remember anything else then?
No, Judge, it's just as I told you. The ray must have harmed the machine, for suddenly my whole picture of the room blocked out.
This waiting is so difficult. I gave orders to the fleet to descend at once and send armed search parties into the tunnels. Until we get word from them, we have no way of knowing whether Marston or our friends have won out.
I know how you feel, Judge. After all, Pat is my flesh and blood, and Slats is almost like a son.
Well, at least the two youngsters are safe. They arrived at Planaria Rex just a few hours ago.
Just a little bit further, and we'll have Planet Man where we want him, huh, Fever? A little bit further, if I remember, there should be a chasm in the floor. Let him think he has me cornered, and then we'll show him our little trick. Won't we, Fever?
Marston, I know you're just ahead of me. You might as well surrender.
Ah, here's the edge of the chasm. Now, Fema, be ready. When I say go, see that you strike straight and true.
Planet Man, you have me cornered. I cannot go any further.
If you surrender now, I will see that you get a fair trial.
How do I know I can trust you?
You'll have to take that chance. Throw down your ray gun.
If I do, will you throw yours down also?
No tricks.
I know when I am beaten, Planet Man. You can depend on my word.
Very well. When I say 3, you throw your weapon out on the floor of the tunnel where I can see it. Then I will do the same.
Start counting, Planet Man.
1, 2, 3.
There it goes.
And there is mine.
Now, Fema, strike.
Dantrell, Fema, look out! Oh, no!
Marston, that was your last bit of treachery. I'm coming after you.
Planet Man, you still live. Fema, you failed me.
Look out, Marston, the chasm!
No!
Slats certainly was a brave man to throw himself in the way of that flying cobra, Fema. We'll never forget his heroic deed.
He's that kind of person, Judge Augustus. And you know, when we picked him up, he smiled and said, "That Fema. He must be stupid if he thinks his poison could kill me. Why, I'm so full of Army snake serum from World War II that it would take Marston's bite to put me out of commission."
He's resting comfortably, sir, and should be up and around very soon. He was delighted to know that Marston's dead because of his brave deed.
Are you sure? We never did find the body.
Well, no one could have survived that fall. No, I think we can forget Marston and his evil. We have more important things to discuss.
That's right. The Council has promised to discuss the entrance of Earth into the League of Planets. Won't that be wonderful, Father? Can you imagine how they'll feel back home when they discover that for years the other planets have been inhabited, watching Earth and waiting for the first spaceship to be launched?
Yes, Pat, it will be quite a surprise. I might even say a shock. That's why I agree with Judge Augustus that we must plan the whole thing carefully. If mistakes are made, it can create a great deal of trouble. You must remember that the Earth is still divided into many factions. If one side or the other sees an opportunity to use this as a means of getting the upper hand, the news of the existence of the League of Planets may bring on a great tragedy.
Do you think we'll be allowed to go back with the first emissaries from Planaria Rex?
It will be most essential that you do. Your father is an interplanetary figure, and his words will be listened to and believed.
Isn't it time we attended the council meeting?
Yes. Let's hurry along.
Alone in the darkness. They think Marston is dead, but they've not heard the last of Marston. Here in this room are machines of the ancients they do not even dream exist. In time, I will learn how to use them. When I do, I will make the solar system pay for my suffering. One by one, the planets shall feel the weight of my anger. One by one. It will take time, but I can wait. Marston can wait.
Marston still lives, alone. But even alone, his presence is dangerous. What can one person like Marston do? What are these machines of which he speaks? And what powers do they hold? We'll be back in a moment. But first, here is a message that the Planet Man wants you to hear. Tune in again for more transcribed thrills and adventures. Rocket millions of light years into space with Dantro, the Planet Man. The Planet Man.
The Planet Man. Planet Man. This is the fascinating story of Dantro, the Planet Man, troubleshooter for the League of Planets organization, the law enforcement body for peace and justice in the celestial world, whose headquarters and center of operations are situated on the capital of all the planets, Planaria Rex. From Mercury to Pluto, wherever danger threatens the universe, you will find Dantro the Planet Man fighting for fair play. In a moment, the Planet Man. You will recall that our friends were safe at last back on Planaria Rex after successfully thwarting Marston's plans to conquer the Earth. They and Dantro the Planet Man believe Marston to be dead, victim of his own evil. But though badly wounded, he is alive, planning revenge. Slats, who in saving the Planet Man's life was himself poisoned by FEMA, Marston's flying cobra, is recovering. We find Billy and Jane out in space aboard a scout ship of the League of Planets Patrol.
1,000 miles a minute. The kids back on Earth could see us now.
Oh, Billy, isn't it exciting?
Captain Alstar, can you hear me? When can I take the controls?
In a minute now, Billy. I'll switch controls up to forward con. We'll be clear of the regular space lanes by then. I wouldn't want to run into the Mars Express.
You think I'll be able to solo soon? Planet Man promised me I'd pilot the ship alone when I passed all the tests.
Oh, Billy, you're in such a hurry. Well, you've only taken lessons for a few days.
What are you talking about? I've had 10 lessons.
That still doesn't make you a pilot.
A lot you know. Captain Alstar says I'm a natural spaceman. Tell her, Captain.
That's right, Jane. Billy's one of those rare people whose coordination is perfect for space.
See, that's how much you know.
That still doesn't mean you haven't anything to learn. I've been watching, and it's pretty complicated.
Jane's got a point there, Billy. You can take it over now if you're ready.
Just watch me.
Now, Billy, be careful. Billy, what's happening?
Gee whiz, will you stop it? Gosh, Captain Alstar, aren't girls awful? Always worrying. I know what I'm doing.
He's doing fine, Jane. But Billy, keep steady on that accelerator. You're safer out here than a lot of other places you've been. We're 200,000 miles out with nothing but space around us.
She's not really scared. She always talks like that. But when there's trouble, you can count on her. Am I on a course, Captain?
Right on the beam, Billy. Just hold it where it is. Now, I'd like to ask you a few questions and see how well you remember what you've learned.
Shoot.
How can I tell whether we're on course or not?
Well, that's easy by checking the spot. That thing over there.
The linear directional coordinator.
Good for you, Jane. That's tougher to pronounce than to use. How does it work, Billy?
Well, one dial is set for our course, like this. And the other on the automatic signals that are broadcast from the space station, this way. Now, if the two lines on the screen are exactly parallel, we're on course, right?
Couldn't be righter. Now, how about that red switch on your left? What's it for? And let's see how you use it.
That's the four-screen control. When you pull it, the ship is surrounded completely by a defensive screen. It's in case we're attacked or a meteor or something comes too close. Watch.
Good boy, Billy. Okay, turn it off. Let's head back for Planaria Rex now, Billy. It's time we were heading in.
Yes, sir. Let me hit that port accelerator. Can I land the ship today?
Oh, there you go again, trying to do everything at once.
I promised Billy he could bring us in today. Just remember what we've been practicing, Billy, and you'll be okay.
Don't worry. I know the routine by heart. I'm heading in.
This is Spaceport, Planaria Rex, calling freighter Centurion of Mercury. Land in Area 5, all clear for you. Hello, Miss Darrow. You're the nicest thing that's happened here all day. Can I show you around the control tower?
Oh, thank you, Lieutenant, but I'm afraid I'm in a bit of a hurry. Have Billy and Jane landed yet?
No, but they're due any minute now. Can't I help you?
Well, that's nice of you, but I'm afraid not. I have some important news for them.
I can reach them over the communicator beam if you like.
Oh, no, it can wait. Besides, Billy's got enough to think about flying that scout.
Yes, I guess you're right. He's making his first landing today.
Landing? Well, is it safe?
Perfectly safe. Billy's flying like a veteran. Captain All-Star, our top pilot's been with him. He says Billy's one of the best students he's had. Don't worry.
Hello, Spaceport Planaria Rex. This is Captain All-Star. My scout is coming in. Request area for landing.
All clear, Captain. Take Area 4.
Roger and out.
It's over there, Miss Darrow. You'll get a good view from up here on the control tower deck. Don't be surprised at what you see.
Well, there's nothing wrong, is there?
No, not at all. The first time anyone lands one of those scouts, they get a real jolt.
Oh.
It's hard to gauge their speed exactly, and it takes practice to come in just right.
Well, they won't crash or anything.
Not a chance. All our ships are equipped with auto landing gear.
Auto what?
It's a beam that cuts in automatically when they come down too fast. It acts like a kind of bumper. They'll bounce a little, but it's perfectly safe. You'd have seen me bounce on my first landing.
We should be there. I always get kind of worried knowing Planaria Rex is so close and not being able to see it. Captain, are you back there?
Yes, Billy. When the control tower gives us an area, you'll be able to see it on the screen.
Oh, they know we're coming.
We'll call in. As a matter of fact, Billy, you'd better do it now.
Check. Hello, Darrow calling Spaceport, Planaria Rex. Darrow calling Planaria Rex. Can you read me? Come in.
Spaceport, Planaria Rex. Come in, Pilot Darrow.
Oh, boy, Pilot Darrow. Hear that, Jane?
Better get your landing clearance, Billy.
Oh, gosh, I forgot. Darrow to Spaceport, are we clear to land?
Spaceport to Darrow. You're clear to land. Take Area 4. Good luck.
Thanks.
Now watch the visa screen there.
It's like magic. First there's nothing, and then all of a sudden, bingo! Planaria Rex.
There's the Spaceport. Area 4 is that one, isn't it?
Check, Billy. It's all yours. Take her in.
Aren't we going in a little fast, Captain? Billy, oh my goodness!
Billy is heading in for his first landing. Is his speed too fast, or is Jane just being too overcautious with Billy? We'll be back in a moment. So, level off. When we left Billy and Jane, they were in a scout spaceship, heading into a landing at the Planaria Rex spaceport, this being Billy's solo landing. Waiting for them is Pat, who is accompanied by a lieutenant of the League of Planets squadron. The lieutenant is talking.
Here they come, Miss Darrow. See over there?
He's really traveling. Are you sure there's no danger?
Not at all, but they're due for a surprise. Watch it.
Oh, no. Why, he bounced 100 feet into the air. But there he goes again.
Oh, they're down now.
Oh, I'm going over to the area.
Come on, I'll run you over in my jet jeep.
Gosh, what happened?
Just came in a little too fast, that's all. There wasn't any danger, and the best way to learn is to bounce a few times.
See, Smarty, I told you you don't know everything.
Oh, you heard what the captain said. It could have happened to anybody. Come on, let's get back and see what's happening to Pat and Dantro. So long, Captain. Thanks.
Goodbye, Captain All-Star.
Bye, kids, and happy landing.
Billy, Jane, what's up, Pat? In 6 hours, we leave for Venus.
Venus?
You see, we're going to make a tour of all the members of the League of Planets.
You mean we'll be like ambassadors from Earth?
Mm-hmm, that's exactly it. None of the people in the League of Planets has ever seen anyone from Earth.
Did you say we leave in 6 hours?
Yes, and we'll have to hurry. Is the professor going? No, he's decided to stay here on Planaria Rex and work in the laboratories with the scientists.
I guess Slats can't go.
Oh, not yet. In a couple of weeks, he'll be up and around. He'll join us then. Come on.
Well, Judge Augustus, we leave in an hour.
Dantro, I wanted to be sure you realize how important this trip is. I know everyone will like Pat, Billy, and Jane, but we don't want anything unforeseen to happen.
They'll make friends with everyone, I'm sure.
That's not what I'm worried about. Marston had friends on all the planets, and they're still very active. To keep Earth out of the League of Planets, they might even resort to violence. So be prepared for anything.
A whole new world of adventure seems to be in store for Billy, Jane, and Pat as they prepare for their interplanetary tour. What thrills lie ahead? We'll be back in a moment, but first, here is a message that Dantro the Planet Man wants you to hear. Tune in again for more transcribed thrills and adventures. Rocket millions of light years into space with Dantro the Planet Man. The Planet Man. The Planet Man. Planet Man. This is the fascinating story of Dantro, the Planet Man, troubleshooter for the League of Planets organization, the law enforcement body for peace and justice in the celestial world, whose headquarters and center of operations are situated on the capital of all the planets, Planaria Rex. From Mercury to Pluto, wherever danger threatens the universe, you will find Dantro the Planet Man fighting for fair play. In a moment, the Planet Man. You will remember that Billy, Jane, and Pat Darrow were about to take off from Planaria Rex with Dantro the Planet Man for Venus. They are starting on a goodwill tour of the members in the League of Planets. Judge Augustus warned Dantro that although Marston's power was destroyed, his collaborators on the planets were still a threat to the Earth people, that they might even resort to violence in their determination to keep Earth from becoming a member of the League. We find our party preparing for their blast-off from the spaceport on Planaria Rex.
In 5 minutes or so, we'll blast off of Venus. Are you excited, Billy?
Little. Listen to him. A little, he says. Well, he's been practically jumping up and down for the last 4 hours.
You've been excited yourself, Phil. Talk about me.
I'm afraid we don't know an awful lot about Venus, Danto.
Well, it isn't exactly Earth, you know. The clouds that shroud the planet are dust.
I thought they were like the ones back home. You know, water vapor.
No, they're dust. As a matter of fact, the surface of the planet is almost covered with dust. The Venusians have evolved a culture that's quite different from any other planet in the League. They even look different, as you know. Their noses, for instance. You've noticed how big they are. That's because of the dust. They have a kind of filter that's part of their bodies that enables them to breathe.
Oh, I wondered about that. And about the extra eyelid they seem to have. It's transparent. I guess that's to protect their eyes from the dust.
Yes, exactly, Pat.
But do they live out in the middle of the dust all the time? Doesn't it get into their food and everything?
Well, one time they did. But for centuries, they've lived under tremendous transparent domes. Their cities are covered by them. We'll be quite comfortable inside them.
Won't we ever go outside?
Oh, yes, but when we do, we'll have to wear respirators to filter out the dust.
I couldn't help laughing when I first saw the Venusian ambassador's big nose. I guess nature knows what she's doing.
They'll have the laugh on us with our respirators.
Well, they're much too polite to laugh. But you're right about nature. You'll find as we travel around that some of the races in the League of Planets will look pretty funny to you. But there's always a good reason for it. They've each adapted to the environment of the place they live. That's why even the people back on your Earth are different.
Isn't it getting close to blast-off time?
Oh, just about, Billy. I want to give the ship a quick check, though, before we go up. That's funny.
What's funny?
I may be just imagining things, but the controls don't feel right to me. Particularly the counter-gravity stabilizer.
Gee, you don't think it's busted, do you? Will it delay our trip?
Not busted, Billy. Broken.
Gee whiz, what's the difference? You know what I mean. Will it, Danto? Will it delay us?
Don't distract him, Billy.
Oh, that's all right. After all, Billy wants to learn. The pilot needs to know his ship.
Sure, you women don't understand these mechanical things. Now, what seems to be the trouble?
I'm afraid it's a little too technical even for you, Billy. I better call the flight engineer. I checked the entire ship with him myself before, but I'll ask him to go over this counter-gravity stabilizer again. Flight engineer, report to control deck at once.
Flight engineer Mako, sir. What's up?
Well, it's probably nothing, but the controls don't seem to respond quite right.
Well, we checked them together.
We'll give them a quick once-over just for luck.
Well, of course, sir.
Can I help? I'm almost a pilot, you know.
I know. I've been hearing about you. Sure, you can hold these tools and hand them to me as I need them.
How many people are there on Venus, Danto?
About 1 billion people, Jane.
Any animals?
Oh, of course. And like the Venusians, they've all adapted themselves to the dust. There's another inhabitant of Venus that's almost a legend. Very few of them have ever been seen. There isn't even a picture of one, and most Venusians doubt that they exist.
He sounds mysterious. What are they?
Well, the Venusians call them dusties. They're almost humanoid in appearance from the stories I've heard. No one really knows much about them, but they've been credited with almost magical powers.
Do you believe that?
I'm afraid I don't know what to believe, Jane. I've traveled around the solar system and seen too many unbelievable things to be sure of anything. There's certainly no evidence to support that belief, though. Probably just a sort of legend more than anything else. Oh, any luck, Mako?
Well, nothing wrong so far, sir.
Have you checked the stabilizer?
I'm just going over it now. Seems okay. Wait a minute. Billy, hand me that round tube. It can't be.
Trouble?
I'm afraid so. I'm not sure yet, but something isn't the way it should be here.
You better go over it carefully.
Don't worry, sir, I will. Hand me that scanner, Billy.
Can it be serious? I mean, if it didn't work right?
Serious enough to end our trip before we had hardly gotten started. Without the stabilizer, we'd never clear the gravity field of Planetary Rex. It could make us crash if it were badly enough warped.
Jumping sun talk, this is awful.
Did I give you the wrong tool?
No, the tool's all right, but something else is awfully wrong. Will you come over to the engineering maintenance for a moment, sir? I'd like to talk to you.
Can I come?
Oh, you better stay here with the tools, Billy. It's pretty technical anyhow. And I've got to look at some relay charts. I'll explain it to you when I get back. What's the trouble?
Well, I didn't want to tell you in front of the kids and Miss Darrow, so there's no sense worrying them. But that gravity stabilizer is absolutely useless. You wouldn't get 2 miles off Planaria Rex. You'd come down like a meteor.
Or you could have told me in front of them they're not the kind that get frightened easily.
That's not why I asked you to step out. That equipment is useless. And it's no accident.
No? What do you mean?
It's been tampered with.
Tampered with? Are you sure?
You went over it with me, sir. It was in perfect shape then.
But are you sure it's been deliberately damaged?
The way it is, it couldn't have been an accident. The connections have been switched and the tubes shorted. Whoever did it knew exactly what he was doing. You wouldn't have had a chance of landing without a crash.
You'd better check the rest of the controls. I'll make some excuse to Miss Darrow and the kids. And check it thoroughly.
Don't worry, I'll go over everything with a micro scanner.
There's trouble ahead for the League of Planets group before they even take off on their goodwill trip. Who is behind this sabotage? We'll be back in a moment. So level up. When we left Danto, he was informed by the flight engineer that the proposed interplanetary goodwill spaceship, the Planeteer, had been sabotaged. Now we find Danto talking with Billy, Jane, and Pat in the control cabin, but not letting on to what is really wrong.
Do you think we'll make it this time, Danto?
Well, I think so, Billy. What happened before was just one of those accidents. It should teach you a good lesson, though. Always check your ship before you take it up. Even the best technicians slip sometimes, and it's your life that's at stake, and sometimes others.
You bet I will. Can I stand here a while you blast off?
Oh, me too. You may be in the way.
Oh, it's all right, Pat. They're no trouble at all, and not very complicated.
I keep forgetting how different from the old Constitution these ships are. No dangerous acceleration, no recoil couches. It's almost like going up in an elevator.
There goes the signal to blast off.
Right, Billy. Here we go.
Boy, this ship really travels. Can I take over the controls, though?
Maybe not this trip, Billy. Don't worry, you'll have a lot of chance to be traveling a lot for a while now. We'll be out of these dust clouds in a minute, and then you'll be able to take your first look at Venus.
I've always thought that the clouds were water vapor, like the clouds on Earth.
Well, if they were, Venus would be a lot better off. As it is, they have ways that will seem quite strange to you. Oh, but you'll see it yourself in a little while now. There, now you can see the planet.
Why, it looks like a big desert. Hey, what's that thing down there? It looks like a big bubble.
Well, that's Venusport. I told you their cities were covered with tremendous domes to keep out the dust storms.
But how do we get in?
Well, they have locks like the airlocks on a spaceship. You go through one door, which seals, and then we can go through the second, through to the city itself.
Do they know we're coming?
Well, I've already signaled ahead. You see that directional arrow? If we keep it lined up with the beam, we will come right onto the port.
I see it. It's that round opening.
Yeah, that's right. We'll have to slow down.
There, a second door ahead of us now. What's opening?
The outer door must be closed then. Here we go.
See the landing field is below us.
Yes, and there's a delegation waiting for us to land. They'll probably make a speech. Yes, this is quite an event for Venus. Not often they have visitors from the other planets.
On behalf of the people of Venus, I welcome you to Venusport. Our planet is yours.
Do you think he means it? Be quiet, Billy. This is a very serious occasion.
As I grasp the hands of each of you from Earth, may it be a symbol of the future unity for the people of Venus and the people of your home planet.
The first leg on the interplanetary goodwill tour has been made without incident, except for the attempted sabotage of the Planeteer at takeoff. Now on the planet Venus, the planet of dust, the Earth people and Danto are to be the most honored guests in many a century. We'll be back in a moment, but first, here is a message the Planet Man wants you to hear. Tune in again for more transcribed thrills and adventures. Rocket millions of light years into space with Danto, the Planet Man. Bye. Planet Man. The Planet Man. Planet Man. This is the fascinating story of Dantro, the Planet Man, troubleshooter for the League of Planets organization, the law enforcement body for peace and justice in the celestial world, whose headquarters and center of operations are situated on the capital of all the planets, Planaria Rex. From Mercury to Pluto, wherever danger threatens the universe, you will find Dantro, the Planet Man, fighting for fair play. In a moment, the Planet Man. When we left our friends Pat, Billy, and Jane Darrow, they and Dantro the Planet Man had landed at Venusport. As the first people from Earth to visit that planet, they were welcomed most cordially. We find Billy, Pat, and Jane discussing the wonderful reception that was given in their honor.
Brother, that was some banquet.
You said it. What was it we ate?
Gosh, I don't know. Do you know, Pat?
I'm a little bit afraid to ask. Didn't you like the taste?
Oh, sure, it was swell.
Oh, come in.
Dantro, when are we leaving? Where are we going?
I'll tell you all about it in a minute. You packed, Pat?
Oh, just about. A few little odds and ends, but it'll only take a minute.
Oh, fine. I just came from the office of the League of Planets here on Venus. They wanted me to be sure and commend all of you on the way you've been conducting yourselves. Particularly you two, Billy and Jane. The ambassador thought you got along wonderfully at the party the vice regent of Venus gave for you.
Gosh, we didn't do anything special.
They were such nice people. It was almost like our friends on Earth.
Well, just the same, you were both swell.
You know, Dantro, sometimes I think you do it deliberately.
Hmm?
You know, we're all standing here wondering when we're leaving and where we go next. Is it a secret?
Yeah, what's the mystery?
No mystery at all. I didn't mean to keep you guessing. It's just that I've got a lot on my mind. I was going over the route with the convoy commander.
Convoy commander? Are we going by boat?
Silly, how could we go by boat? There's no water.
No boat, Billy.
Oh, Dantro, what is this all about?
I'm sorry, Pat. Well, here's the story. We leave here in about half an hour and travel in convoy by dust buggy to Galanta.
What's a dust buggy?
Where's Galanta?
Well, a dust buggy is like, well, I guess back on Earth you'd call it a sled. It has an enclosed cabin to keep out the dust. It's driven by jets along the tops of the dust the way a sled goes over the snow. Galanta's the biggest city here on Venus. It's about 600 miles from Venusport.
Couldn't we go by air?
Well, we could, but I thought you might like to see something of Venus. It'll take a little longer this way, but you could get a good look at the countryside. The buggy's built to take all kinds of conditions. It will be part of a convoy.
It sounds exciting.
Yes, it will be. I'll never forget the first time I traveled across Venus. It's an experience you'll never forget. Pat, can I talk to you a minute?
Oh, certainly. Come into my room.
You get your things together, kids. We'll be right back. I wanted to talk to you about something serious, and I just assumed Billy and Jane didn't hear. Nothing may happen, but I think you ought to be aware that everyone on Venus isn't friendly.
Well, I thought the Venusians were on our side.
Well, they are, don't misunderstand me. 99% of them are anxious for Earth to join the League, but Marston had allies here on Venus. As a matter of fact, just before we left Planaria Rex, Judge Augustus warned me to be careful.
Then there was something really wrong with the ship after all, wasn't there?
I'm afraid there was. I didn't want to frighten you, so I pretended it was an accident. But it was sabotage. There's no question about it, and I'm afraid it's only the beginning.
Do you think they'll really try to hurt us?
Well, I'm afraid they may, Pat. After all, if we had taken off with the ship the way it was, we'd have all been killed. If they're willing to go that far, they'll stop at nothing. Oh, that's why I felt I'd better tell you the truth so that you'd be on your toes.
Well, it's not myself I'm worried about, but the kids are my responsibility. I certainly wouldn't want anything to happen to them.
Believe me, Pat, nothing's going to happen if I can help it. But there's no harm in being prepared. Well, we better get moving. Convoy will be waiting for us. Come on, kids. Let's go.
A trip through the Venus dust land. That in itself is exciting. But what possible danger may face Danto, Pat, Billy, and Jane as they embark on this Venusian convoy trip? We'll be back in a moment. So, level up. When we left Danto, Pat, and the two kids, Billy and James, they were about to leave Venusport for an overland trip to Galanta, which would take them over the treacherous Venus dust. As we find them now, they are speeding along in a Venusian dust buggy, and the ride is apparently full of thrills.
Boy, Billy, isn't this wonderful? It's like a roller coaster back on Earth. Oh, here comes another hill. Hang on. Oh, boy, what a ride!
I told you you'd enjoy this. If we'd gone by air, you'd have missed all the fun.
Oh, it is exciting, but I can't help but wonder what would happen if our dust buggy conked out.
Don't worry, that's why we travel in convoys. We just transfer to one of the other buggies. If we lost the convoy, we could use our communicator, and they'd send out a rescue party from Venusport.
Well, I'm not really worried, but that landscape out there is a little frightening. I never realized there could be so much dust anywhere.
Well, it's hundreds of feet deep, Pat, and these hills are moving all the time, like sand in your deserts back on Earth.
Gosh, you know almost as much about Earth as we do.
Well, you know, we've been watching Earth for years with the cosmic communicator. I've learned a lot about your planet and its people.
That's right, I'd forgotten. I wish we had the communicator here now. I'd like to see what's going on in the sports world. You and your old sports. Look out there. We'll never see anything like that on Earth.
Maybe when we get back to Planaria Rex, you can teach us some games.
Boy, that's an idea. We could have games and maybe even have a League of Planets Olympics like the ones on Earth. And Judge Augustus could be an official. I bet he'd love that, wouldn't he, Dan?
I wouldn't be a bit surprised. They have a game here on Venus I think you'd like. Maybe when we get to Galanta, you can watch a game. It's called Jetto.
How do they play it?
With one-man jets and a ball that's anti-gravitated so it floats in the air.
Gosh, it sounds exciting. Do you think we'll run into a dust storm?
Oh, let's hope not. Once you've been in one, you never want to see another. Now, we're safe enough in the buggy. It's built to travel right through storms. But with the wind blowing at 100 miles an hour, this dust is like a million sharp needles. If you were outside without protection, it would strip your clothes off in a second, and the rest of you, too, for that matter.
Let's not even talk about it. It gives me the shivers. You always get scared. Maybe I do, but that doesn't stop me.
That's right, Jane. Sometimes I think you pretend to be scared to make Billy feel brave.
That's a secret between us women. You women are all alike, always making fun of a guy.
Yes, Billy, but they are nice to have around.
Oh, I guess so. Only sometimes Jane talks too much.
What's that?
Where?
Over there on the left, way out there. See? It looks like a cloud or something.
I see it all right. Jane, it looks like you're going to find out what a dust storm is like.
Is that what it is? Seems so far away.
At the speed it's traveling, it'll be here within a few minutes. We're in for a little rough weather. Better buckle those safety belts.
Gosh, this is really something.
Hadn't we better pull a little closer to the convoy?
That's a good idea. We'll switch on our lights, too, the way they have, so we can see each other through the storm.
Keep out the wind and the dust, but it doesn't keep out the noise.
I'm afraid they're built for safety and speed, not for comfort. But don't be afraid. At the rate we're traveling, we should be out of the storm quickly enough.
It's a good thing the rest of the convoy put on their lights. Pitch black outside. They just barely make them out.
We'll stick close to them. They know the way. You all okay?
Sure, we're fine.
What's happened?
I'm not sure. I'll try and start the jets again.
That had me worried for a minute.
That must have been the dust. Some of it must have gotten through the filters into the engine.
Look, there's one of the convoy. They dropped back to see if we were okay.
They're pulling up right alongside of us.
I'll signal them ahead. Everything's fine now.
There they go. Can you see them?
Don't worry. I'll follow right behind until we catch up with the rest of the convoy.
pulling away from us.
Our jets still aren't working right. I can't understand it. These buggies are built for this kind of weather. Well, there it goes again.
Can't you get it started?
I'm afraid we're stuck.
Will it come back first again?
They'll try, but in this storm, they'll never find us.
What'll happen?
Well, we'll just use our communicator and call for help. They'll be able to get direction from our radar beam and find us even if the dust storm is still on. Hello, Planet Man calling Venusport. Planet Man calling Venusport. Hello, Venusport. Venusport, do you hear me? This is Planet Man calling Venusport. Come in, Venusport.
No answer.
Hello, Venusport. Come in, Venusport. This is Planet Man calling Venusport.
Maybe something's happened to our communicator. God, can't you think it's something pleasant?
Pleasant or not, I'm afraid Jane's right. The communicator isn't working.
What do we do now?
Well, we're safe enough here in the buggy. We'll just sit out the storm, and then I'll send up a few flares. They'll be looking for us, and somebody is sure to notice. We'll just sit tight until they do.
Well, our friends seem to have become the victims of a Venusian dust storm. Or has the work of some saboteurs hit its mark? Will the rest of the convoy discover the missing dust buggy soon? What manner of danger lies ahead for Danto and his friends? We'll be back in a moment. But first, here is a message the Planet Man wants you to hear. Tune in again for more transcribed thrills and adventures. Rocket millions of light years into space with Dantro, the Planet Man. The Planet Man. The Planet Man. Planet Man. This is the fascinating story of Danto, the Planet Man, troubleshooter for the League of Planets organization, the law enforcement body for peace and justice in the celestial world, whose headquarters and center of operations are situated on the capital of all the planets, Planaria Rex. From Mercury to Pluto, wherever danger threatens the universe, you will find Dantro the Planet Man fighting for fair play. In a moment, the Planet Man. Remember, Billy, Jane, and Pat Darrow and Dantro the Planet Man were marooned on Venus amidst a sea of dust when their dust buggy broke down during a terrible storm. With their communicator not working, they have been unable to do more than sit and wait for the storm to blow itself out.
Have you figured out what's wrong with the communicator yet, Dantro?
Not yet, Billy. I can't understand how it could have gone out. This type of equipment is built to take a pounding for years without trouble.
Maybe it needs a tube or something.
Not this set. They're tubeless. That's what makes them so sturdy.
Listen to that wind.
Gonna have to listen to it. I can almost feel it through the buggy. That plastic shield around us must really be strong.
How fast do you think it's blowing out there?
Well, at least 200 miles an hour, maybe more.
Gosh.
Have you found the trouble yet?
Yes, I found it.
Can't you fix it?
Not without new parts, and there aren't any extras aboard.
New parts? Is it that bad?
Pat, you remember what I told you just before we left Venusport?
You mean about the ship?
That's right. Well, it looks like this is more of the same.
More of the same? Same what?
I'm going to tell them, Pat.
I guess you better.
What's going on?
Remember the trouble we had with the ship before we left Planaria Rex?
I remember. It was something with the counter-gravity thing.
Yes, the counter-gravity stabilizer. It was deliberately sabotaged. And the same thing has happened to this communicator. And the dust buggy, too, I think. It's as I told Pat at Venusport. Marston is gone, but his collaborators are still at work trying to achieve what he failed to do.
But what good does it do them to strand us out here? Sooner or later, a search party will find us and take us back to Venusport.
You're absolutely right, Jane, and that's one of the reasons why I decided to tell you and Billy the whole story. I'm afraid that the dirty work isn't over.
Do you think someone in the convoy was in on it?
Well, we'll probably never find out for sure who sabotaged our buggy and communicator. Say, we've been so busy talking, I didn't even notice that the storm's letting up. I hope what I've told you doesn't frighten you.
You should know us better than that by now. Besides, we're all stuck together. We can take care of anything.
Attaboy, Billy. That's the way to talk.
Hello, Venusport. Secret Channel 7 Zeptar. This is Noki reporting from Goodwill Tour Convoy. Mission complete. Dantro's dust buggy stopped as planned. Convoy did not stop to find them in dust storm. We'll proceed with Operation Pickup. Should have the Earth people and Dantro as prisoners shortly. Keep you advised. Signing off.
Dantro, how about going outside? The storm's over. Maybe we can fix the jets on the buggy.
That's one thing we mustn't even try, Billy. That dust is like powder, and in this part of the desert, it's hundreds of feet thick. Without special shoes, you'd sink out of sight in a second. That's why the buggies have wide, flat runners like a sled so that they can coast along on top of the dust.
I bet if we had a pair of snowshoes, we could walk on it.
Well, as a matter of fact, the Venusians wear special dust walkers that look almost exactly like snowshoes. There aren't any on the buggy. I've already looked.
What are we going to do now? Just sit here and wait?
No, I'm going to climb to the top of the buggy and send up a couple of flares before it gets light. May help them find us.
We want to help who's ever trying to get rid of us, too?
Well, we'll just have to take that chance. Here, hold this flare gun, and when I get up on top of the buggy, hand it to me.
Be careful.
Don't worry, I will.
Dantro, look out!
It's all right, Billy. Hand me the flare gun. Just reach it up through the doorway there.
There it is.
Now, I've got it.
Why doesn't he send up a flare?
Give him time.
He's coming back down again. What's the matter, Dantro? Why didn't you send up a flare?
Well, that does it. The flare gun's been tampered with, too.
Well, isn't there anything we can do?
Maybe we can light a fire.
It'd be a good idea if we had something to burn, but everything in the buggy is fireproof and there's nothing else but dust for hundreds of miles. No, I'm afraid we'll just have to sit here until it gets light and hope the rescue party finds us then.
A wait for help in a sea of dust is a very long time. Sometimes it never comes. What will face our friends now? We'll be back in a moment, so level up. When we left Dantro, Pat, and the kids, Billy and Jane, they were waiting for help in their sabotaged dust buggy. They were hoping a Venusian rescue party would shortly pick them up. As we find them now, they are in their dust buggy staring out at the vast reaches of the shifting mountains of dust.
Jane, what are you looking at?
I was sure I saw something moving out there.
Where?
Out that way. It looked almost like somebody standing. It's gone now.
I'm afraid it was your imagination, Jane. Even in this light, you can see for miles. There's nothing there now.
She's just seeing things.
Well, if she's seeing things, so am I. Look out there.
You're right. I can see it, too. Looks like some kind of an animal or something's coming towards it.
The Planet Man! The Planet Man. This is the fascinating story of Dantro, the Planet Man, troubleshooter for the League of Planets organization, the law enforcement body for peace and justice in the celestial world, whose headquarters and center of operations are situated on the capital of all the planets, Planaria Rex. From Mercury to Pluto, wherever danger threatens the universe, you will find Dantro, the Planet Man, fighting for fair play. In a moment, The Planet Man. When we left the crew of Earth's first rocket expedition, they were heading for a crash on the moon. We find Dr. Darrow, his daughter Pat, Slats, the engineer, and our two young stowaways, Billy and Jane, discussing their dangerous predicament. The sound of the complicated control mechanism makes the cabin seem like a chatterbox of confusion. And from the outside can be heard the mad whining of the lunar currents. We find them now as they're getting closer and closer to the moon's surface. Slats is speaking.
Our altimeter reading is dropping pretty fast, Professor.
Isn't there any way we can break our fall on the moon?
I've thought of everything, Pat, but there just doesn't seem to be any answer. The extra power we lost on takeoff was our only hope.
Father, I know you don't like to do things second best, but in a situation like this, it might be necessary.
What do you mean, Pat?
Well, what about using our remaining power to go into an orbit around the moon, as we discussed in our original plan?
Yes, but what good will that do? We still come to the same end, except that the agony will be prolonged.
Let's do it, Professor. We got nothing to lose.
Whatever it is, I'm game, Uncle John.
Me too, Uncle John.
You know what they say, Professor, where there's life, there's hope.
It'll be a ticklish maneuver now since we've gotten into the pull of the moon and our power is limited. But if the rest of you are game, so am I. Stand by to maneuver. Pat, start the reactor.
Yes, Father.
Slats, check the radar rangefinder and make sure you pinpoint those readings on the moon.
Yes, sir.
I'll pilot. Now keep your fingers crossed. Heading 10 degrees starboard.
Heading 10 degrees starboard.
Cut the reactor, Pat.
Cutting reactor.
What's our reading?
It's 63.3. We need a bit more, Professor.
Hit it again, Pat.
Reactor on.
Are we picking it up fast enough, Slats? What's the reading?
Not enough, Professor. We need a fraction more.
Are you sure, Slats? I've got our heading way over, and our power can't last much longer with such a radical course heading. Slats, give me a reading. Slats, do you hear me? Give me a reading.
It's 89.4. 6 more points, Professor.
That's the end of our power. I hope we make it.
Steady, steady. Just a bit more, old Ironsides. There. Well, we made it. We made it, Professor.
Good,
right
that's
on the
fine.
beam.
I'm so glad. Very glad.
Hey, what are we all so happy about? We're right in the middle of nowhere.
You mean that we're not going to land on the moon after all?
I'm afraid not, Billy.
What's going to happen? Nothing, Jane. We're just going to circle the moon the way the moon circles the Earth.
Just look at that view of the moon. What a break. So near and yet so far.
Uncle John, something is happening to the air. It's getting stuffy in here.
I know, Billy. It's the air circulator slowing down. Breathing will be just a bit difficult from now on since our oxygen supply is limited.
Professor, can you hear me?
Slats, where are you? What are you up to?
I'm outside the ship, bringing up the lunar communications generator. Thought we might as well set it up and try to make contact with the Earth.
You can't do that alone.
I'm here, too.
Careful, Pat. Don't let go now. Pat! Slats, grab her. She's floating away.
What?
Quick, Slats!
Slats, help me. Help me.
Pat, here. Grab my hand. Quick now. Come on. Hold tight now. Easy. There we are. Steady now.
He pulled her back, Uncle John.
Pat, Slats, is everything all right?
Yes, Father, thanks to Slats. I thought I was a goner.
Don't forget you're out in space, Pat, and if you ever drifted away, we'd never be able to get you back.
It's all okay now, Professor. We're coming in.
Pat?
Yes, Billy?
Jane and I know what's going on.
What are you talking about?
Pat, we know this whole trip was spoiled because we stowed aboard. It's all our fault.
Now listen to me, you two, and stop feeling guilty. It wasn't the best idea for you to sneak aboard, but it did happen. And besides, we could have been wrong in our calculations. The important thing now is for all of us to face up to whatever lies ahead. And I know that you two won't let me down.
Never, Pat.
Not us, Pat.
All right, now let's just forget the whole thing. I wonder where Slats and Father are.
We'll return to Planet Man in just a moment. So, level off. Well, it looks like the first trip from Earth to the moon is coming to its tragic end. The good ship Constitution is in a hopeless orbit about the moon. The entire crew is slowly suffocating because the oxygen supply is coming to an end. Professor Darrow and Slats are in the posterior cargo chamber. Slats is apparently up to something.
Why don't you go to the control cabin, Professor, and lie down for a while? It'll be easier for you to breathe.
I think I'd better stay here. I hate to have Pat and the kids see me so worried and worn out. Slats, you've got something on your mind. What is it?
Well, I've been thinking, Professor. I really haven't got anybody. Nobody'd miss me, and you and Pat and the kids would have a little extra time.
Now, what are you driving at?
Well, a big guy like me uses a lot of oxygen. All I have to do is to step through that port, and it'll be all over in a second. You people will have a little longer.
Don't be a fool, Slats. We're all in this together. Besides, if anybody goes through the port, it will be me. I'm the oldest. And besides, the whole thing is my responsibility.
Now, look, Professor, I've made up my mind. There's no point in trying to stop me.
No, Slats, don't jump.
Don't stop me, Professor. I'll hit you. I didn't mean to hurt you, Professor, but this is the way it's got to be. So long, Professor. What's that?
What's going on in there? What's that clanging?
We're not clanging anything. I thought it was you.
Let's. Father, look out of the port. Quick.
Boy, look at that.
It's mammoth.
Professor, get up. Something's happened.
What?
There's something next to our ship.
Huh? Oh, my head. Ship. Here, help me. Let me see that. What? It's impossible. But it looks like another ship is next to ours.
Let me help you, Professor. We must get to the control cabin with the others.
Father, Slats, what is it?
I don't know, but now we'd better stay close together. Slats, where are you going?
Just to get this fishing wrench. I don't know what's coming through that hatch, but I'm not taking any chances.
Well, be careful and don't get too close to the hatch.
Let's all be very quiet.
Oh, Uncle John, look.
Stand back, whatever you are. I'll...
Look at Slats. He can't move. He's frozen in his tracks.
Oh, Slats. Why, it's a man.
What did you expect? A three-headed Mercurian man-eater? I am a man from the planets.
A planet man. Boy, wait till the gang hears about this.
Billy, please.
My name is Dantro, the Planet Man, and I come in peace. I represent the League of Planets, and my mission is to bring all of you to Planaria Rex.
Planaria Rex? League of Planets?
Where is that?
I'll explain in a moment. But I don't think we should leave your brave friend Slats in this paralyzed predicament. He'll snap right out of it with a shot of this ray gun neutralizer.
What happened? Did I get him?
It's all right, Slats. We're all safe. It seems that we've met a friend, and his name is Dantro, the Planet Man.
It's nice to meet a brave man like you, Slats. Here, let me help you up.
Oh. Dantro, my name is John Darrow. This is my daughter and assistant, Pat.
How do you do?
And I think you've already met Slats.
Yeah.
And these two are Jane and Billy, my niece and nephew.
Well,
it's a pleasure to know you all. You see, we've really known you for a long time, since we've been able to watch your experiments. In fact, we've been in touch with this entire trip of yours. We've even learned to speak your language.
But how could you do all that?
We planet men have many devices which Earth has not yet discovered. And one of them is the cosmic communicator, which enables us to see and hear across the millions of miles of space.
But why have you kept the existence of the League of Planets from the Earth?
Where is Planaria Rex, and why haven't I been able to chart its position?
Everything will be explained to you in due time.
What's that noise?
It's coming from my ship. We must hurry along. It's the bogey warning oscillator telling us there are some unidentified ships approaching.
But we can't leave the Constitution.
Not old Ironside.
Your ship will be safe in this orbit for 1,000 years. We must not waste time.
Will I get a spacesuit like yours?
Will you let me fly the ship?
I see Earth children are no different from ours. There's our last warning. Quick, through the hatch into my ship, the Planeteer.
What adventures lie ahead for the Earth people? What will they find on Planaria Rex? Whose ships are those approaching the helpless Constitution? We'll be back in just a moment. But first, here is a message that Dantro the Planet Man wants you to hear. Tune in again for more transcribed thrills and adventures. Find out what happens to the Earth people as they speed toward a new world on Planaria Rex. Rocket millions of light years into space with Dantro the Planet Man. The Planet Man. The Planet Man.